What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Our Perspectives. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and joining me tonight is Littyyy Bro Flacko with the dramatic entrance. Maybe we should have dramatic entrances every single time where we like pop in to scream, like creating our own animations on this video. Anyway,
How did we do?
It's what up, Chris? I see you there. This is a live
Hey,
show.
CC in the chat.
So feel free to come through and chat with us, and we'll do our best to respond to you when relevant. If for whatever reason we don't feel it's relevant, we might ignore you and just chat with you in the chat. But yeah, we here with another week of our opinions. It feels like after the explosiveness of last week, it was a very calm, not as eventful week. Like almost like social media didn't have the same pull. It was just so much social media that was like you had to take a step back this week. But yeah, before we get into the show, we do like to, recap what we've been up to. So Flacko, why don't you tell us what's been going on in your world?
Oh man, busy. My company starts its busy season, like probably like last month, but it really flared up this month and these 2 weeks in particular. And so busy with work, busy with life, right? Mother's Day just passed.
Did you see your mom?
I didn't. My mother's in Texas. But
that's a little far.
Yeah, it's a lot of far from me. But I definitely went to go see my mother-in-law, which is like my resident mother. I love her so much. Shouts to you, Dina. Shouts to the whole Ortiz clan. And so life, work, and then music is also like super busy. But like I love this. Like I love the frenetic. Like literally today, it's like I'm on work calls from like the morning into the morning afternoon, and then I'm on music and like the stuff that we're
Nitty on
working on
YouTube?
calls, and then I'm like busy with squeezing stuff with the wife, and it's just like, yo, I love this. I love it when I'm this like this much is on the line. It's like, oh man, the pressure's on. It's like, this is when I operate my best. This is when I operate at my highest.
Feel that.
So yeah, that's it. Just been busy with life and work and social and music and everything. And we're trying to drop the album for July 4th. Also news. I gave news of what the album title was.
Oh, yeah, you did the interview.
I did an interview on Music Buff Radio this past week. Shouted you out. Shouted out many people as I could.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you one thing. Flacko managed to keep it both Littyyy while also giving social political lectures on the history of stuff. Like, honestly, it took a very unexpected turn than I was expecting as a viewer, but it just goes to show Flacko's priorities when given a platform are about the betterment of his people.
At all times, always.
And we're saying Flacko had polished off 2/3 of a bottle of champagne at this point to himself.
I appreciate that Holden took notice of that.
We were just watching you go shout.
What's up, Lindell? Hey,
what's up,
Baxter? Homie Baxter in the building. We were just going over our weeks. I was telling Holden how I'm busier than ever with work and music and personal life and family and wife, right? Relationship and all the busyness, and how like when the pressure is on and like all this like, oh my God, like all this pressure is on, that's when I'm like Birdman
ready
hands.
to go.
You know what I mean? Birdman hand rub. I'm like, it's time for me to shine brightest. That's when like Rihanna comes in my head and I'm like, shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. but yeah, and then I was talking about having done an interview this past week at Music Buff Radio, and I was shouting out everybody, and like Holden was taking notice of the fact that like I'm like polished off 2/3 of my bottle of Moet, and I'm like still making sure to touch like political subjects and shit. I'm like educating them, like, Latino isn't a race. I don't know if you guys know this, and I'm like trying to explain to them like the similarities between, because they were asking me questions about like Cuchi Fritos and Spanish shit, and I'm just like, same shit as all the islands, bro. It's all Caribbean. Like whether you're in Haiti or Trinidad and Tobago's or Bahamas, Bermuda, Dominican Republic, Cuba, it's like, let me guess, you eating some rice and some type of beans and some type of fish, huh? Some fish is there? Yeah. Let me guess why. You live on an island.
Yeah, no.
Like all this shit is the same. There's real no different. They took a little bit of like exception to me saying this, but there's really no difference between a beef patty and an empanada. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about a pastry with meat inside, bro. Like it's just different type of pastry that you use to put it together. You know?
They did come around to Flacco's point of view. I watched the whole thing, so it was pretty. I appreciated you playing Rear View. I was like, that's a good choice.
Holden loves Rear View. Holden loves Volume.
It's a great song.
But yeah, it was
volumes too. But volume 2, like it feels like your most like relatable content, whereas the other stuff is a little more. I'm super Littyyy, and that's more like what you're striving to be as the average person. Whereas anyone can relate to the content on volume 2. We all can hit that shit.
Everybody goes through heartbreak and breaking hearts. Everybody.
Facts.
But yeah, it was a good week overall. Fucking fantastic. How about you, Bax? How was your week?
It was pretty good. Spent a lot of time with my girlfriend because we're introducing our cats to each other, and the cats are being nicer.
Beefing?
I mean, nicer, okay.
Being nicer, yeah. Less hissing.
There's still some tension.
Yeah. It makes sense, One cat, it was like, this was my house, and you came into my house. I don't like that. And the other cat's like, I'm hungry.
I feel cats, cats be catting.
That's why I tell my girlfriend, is like, we can only do so much. They'll figure the rest out. Like they're gonna figure out their cat shit. We just got to make sure they don't fight. You know what I'm saying? And as long as
they'll
they're
come
not
to
fighting,
a comfortable peace. They'll respect each other's boundaries or not.
We're just looking for a 2-cat solution. With that said, EOW was last night. Was it last night? It was last night.
It was last night.
Monday. That was lit. Another contact high for Baxter. Shout out to Kaliva. They were our sponsors. Also, Lawyers and Labels is an organization that I think Pro linked us with. Also our sponsors. Double AB Rocked. He brought out Swave Sever. Shout out to Swave Sever. That was pretty dope. Ox and Agala hosted. And
it was so upset I had to miss it.
So good. I didn't host. Day. I mean, yeah.
I totally forgot when we talked about it last week that like, oh yeah, it's on Mother's Day.
But I mean, it's Mother's Day, so like, ain't nobody obligated to do anything except see their mom.
Right.
But it was dope. I did not work. I didn't host. I didn't do anything. I just enjoyed it, and that was fun. I very rarely get a chance to like watch the show from the audience perspective because I'm always on stage doing something. Yeah. And next Sunday we're gonna be in Bushwick. So word.
Like another EOW in Bushwick?
Yeah. Instead of we've been in the Lower East Side. So
dope. But like because you had made it sound at first like it wasn't going to be weekly, so now you guys are bringing it to a weekly.
There's still no obligation. We're keeping it super cash. We're like, say we don't need labels. We're not dating Sunday. We just happen to be seeing Sunday every week for now.
Understood.
I absolutely am not putting any obligation towards this. I'm like, I am not hosting a weekly open mic. I will host as many weeks as I can comfortably host, but I definitely need weeks off.
Yo, let me tell you something. Yo, separate, right?
Hmm.
Like one EO dub member to another, like
Hmm.
one
Hmm.
family member to another. Like,
Yeah.
yo, you have already gone above and beyond,
Oh, I know. Thank you.
beyond, 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 beyond. You know what I
Thank
mean?
you, sir.
Like, you are the beyonder of the EO dub universe. You know
Listen,
what I'm saying?
I have no
Like,
argument.
you've gone above and beyond. Nobody can. So, like, at this point, you doing any hosting is like a blessing that they should be very thankful for. You know
And
what I
they
mean?
are. And they are.
They are. I know that they are because I know that when they listen, let me tell you something. Also, as a EOW family member who's not one of the chosen beloved family members, let me tell you something. All of us non-beloved family members totally notice which one of our brothers are.
Oh.
I mean, Flacco froze, but I believe we could tell and infer he was saying we could tell who the chosen boy is, which I guess is Baxter. That part I'm guessing.
Maybe.
On.
He'll come back
I don't
in.
know if he'll still come back in. He's still frozen. Alright. Well, while we wait for that, I guess I'll go. Do you have more on your week?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure there was other stuff that happened. Oh, he's back.
I had to take off the Wi-Fi. I don't know what the fuck was happening right there.
Sometimes it bees like that.
It'd be so fucking weird.
We left off. You said we can all tell, and then
all the non-chosen family members totally know who are the favored children. I watched Iron Claw this weekend in the midst of all the craziness, and I was totally surprised at how great of a movie that was. I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't really expect it to be that great.
Yeah, I heard it was amazing. And
it made me sick to my stomach almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is such a fucked up story. And
it's real.
It's so
and
sad.
That's
and
it's not even the full story.
And it's not even the full story, right? The wife was reminding me of the fact that we watched the Vice documentary years ago. But the point is, the father in the movie said at one point in a scene, he was like, "Well, Johnny, you know, fucking Matt is my favorite, and then after Matt comes Jonathan, and then after Jonathan comes Mikey, and then come you, and then comes Holden. But, you know, the rankings can always change." That's what EO Dub family feels like, right? Where it's like, yeah, I guess the rankings can always change. But let's be honest, mom and dad. You clearly have your mind set, you know what I mean? And you have your favorite children. But that's not, right? Like, I can't speak for the rest of the fucking brothers and sisters, right? Like, that's not coming from like a like, you know, jealous fucking ugly place with me, right? It's just for me. It's just like, yo, this is the fact. This is the facts of the matter. This is the facts of the matter.
I'll also tell
this
you,
is fine. You know what I mean?
I'll also tell you the grass is always greener. It's not even the grass is always greener. It's like I don't know if like the perceived favoritism comes with any benefits.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I can tell you from being friends, brothers.
It just comes with
think about
more responsibilities.
I didn't even get to finish, right? Some of the most favorite children. Check them out. Webified, Baxter, Just James Figueroa, Dama. Who are some more favorite children? Penn, Nem, Sway, right? Like these are favorite children of the dub. The favorite one, Iron Solomon. And let me tell you something. It comes with no benefit. Okay.
Just to add context for the people who are like Flacco's just
naming
names.
There are
those
benefits.
are all friends of him. Those are all
benefits.
close friends of him. So what he's saying is he can co-sign this.
I can talk like this. Please do not get yourself confused, people watching, and try to talk to these people in their inboxes online and repeat the things that I said to try to come off like you know something, because it's not going to work. And also, it's going to come off super offensive. and they're just gonna be like, who the fuck does this
But high
motherfucker
key,
think he is?
Especially-
thank
Like,
you for listening.
the fuck?
We appreciate that you do listen. If you
No,
listen
but we
well
do
enough to
appreciate
do
that you
that.
listen. Yeah, to do that. I would appreciate it. I'd be like, oh, look at these motherfuckers showing their fandom. But don't do that. Don't fucking
Don't do that.
shit.
Don't be weird.
But
if you
yeah,
wanna listen, you can
it
go
comes with
listen to
benefits.
Black on
It comes with
Flacco's
benefits.
project.
Right. It comes with benefits, but listen, it's also like not like some crazy, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you know, there's give and take with it. It's a lot of sacrifice and a lot of responsibility. It's like anything. People get jealous of like the person in charge at the job or at a company, and it's like
Yeah.
you don't even know how much they sacrifice. I could tell you from being a stakeholder in a company that like now that I'm a stakeholder in a company and I'm on the verge of becoming a part owner, it's like, man, bro. And people tell me like people try to hit me in the right, like people constantly people love to divide and conquer
Yeah,
things
absolutely.
at all times. People are constantly like, why don't you start your own company? Flock, you need to start your own company. Shh, you know all these people, start your own. I'm like, no. I don't want to, I feel duped for getting this far in and caring this much about my job as is.
Right.
I don't want the responsibility of running my own company all by myself. One guy taking all the responsibility, filling out all the taxes and all the accounting paperwork and being responsible for everything all by himself. Nah, fam.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not the way,
Also,
It is very difficult.
like,
It is way harder to run an actual company than people realize. Now, owning a LLC where like you're employee of one in a company of one, I'm not knocking it. Everybody go for that. You know what I mean? But like running an actual company with like upwards of 150 people on your roster with 100 inactive people who randomly come back in and out of your lives and all these juggling and all these things and people's like upsetness and checks not being cut on time sometimes or a mistake happening with payroll, right? Because it's not even us. We do our job, but then the payroll company might make a mistake on one guy. And now I gotta have that conversation with the one guy. We're like, I promise you. Now we go out of our way. We'll pay out of pocket day of via Zelle if it's that bad for you. You know what I mean? Where it's just like, yo, to make it up, whatever. But all that type of shit is really hard. People don't understand what it takes and all the energy it takes to deal with that many human beings. You know. So I also know that it's not the same thing, and it's not a job like that. But it's absolutely in the same vein. It's a responsibility to be one of the favored children at the Dub of a legendary 20-year franchise that has done things that have never been done in the city, that hardly ever has that happen anymore. You know what I mean? So like big, like people be like, oh, so jealous. And it's like, I'm not jealous of people who got that much responsibility.
And also,
man.
also there's, you know, to what you're pointing out, there's also the intricacies of building anything is never quite as gratifying as like you think it might be, because you can do some stuff by yourself, and when you do stuff by yourself, it's 100% your vision. You don't have to compromise on anything. You do exactly what you want to do, right? But to Flacco's point, the lift of doing it by yourself is so heavy. Like everything's your responsibility. Every failure is your failure. Every success is your success, but it's not easy, right?
Also, like, you got to make all the decisions, and I think that's the part that like people really don't fully appreciate when it becomes your project. Even if you enlist other people to help you, when push comes to shove, it's your judgment that decides every little thing that happens there. And that means if you're wrong, people hold you to that, as like to what Baxter was saying. But it comes with like bigger consequences of people not trusting you, and it adds this extra weight of being right. That like, yo, dead ass, sometimes you just like, I'm like trying to sleep and I'd be sitting there thinking about some shit, like how am I gonna solve this problem?
And you move slower, right? Like when it's just you, the build isn't gonna build that as quick, because anything you do, you need people. Like if you have the capital to pay people and you're doing it on your own, that's about as quick as you can go. But working with a group of people definitely makes things move quicker. But then everything isn't always your vision, and everything isn't always the way you want it to be, and everything isn't always like the decision you would make. And that kind of like what I've learned is that I got to invest as much as I can emotionally like stand to be frustrated with. Does that make any sense? Like I
It
can't
does.
I know exactly what you mean.
yeah, I can't put my whole like, yo, this gotta work, because what's gonna happen is like things aren't gonna go the way that I want it to go, and then like I'm gonna be like, fucking, if we would have did it my way, like you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, oh, that's the way you guys want to do it? Okay, bet, let's do it that way, you know. And sometimes I'm not gonna say necessarily I'm wrong, but sometimes like the other way is successful. Sometimes, like to be very honest, I don't want to do an open mic. I like, you know what I'm saying. Like my philosophy is like there's so much other shit that
You already put in so. You
should
already
be
put in so
focusing
much work too.
but not even
like
that. I just think at this point in the trajectory of EO Dub, we should be highly focused on creating content for the internet. I think we should be focused on like, you know, doing things that look good online more than anything
Yes.
else. But you know,
Yep.
the bread and butter of EO Dub and the core of EO Dub and the heart of EO Dub started from an open mic, and also they correctly identified that there is no open mic culture in New York City right now. Like there's no open mics for people to go to, not like an EO Dub or like the any other big open mics like there were. So there's an urge to fill that void. There's an urge to fill sort of that thing, and I understand that, and there's a value in that. But I still think we should be doing other shit. But teamwork makes the dream work. So.
But that's the
Teamwork
fact of
makes
it.
the dream work.
Like I literally got so frustrated with throwing events because like I had a vision when I went into it, and on a lot of cases it was my capital. Although shout out Chris, he put money in too. But like then you wanted other people involved because like it's impossible to just do a show with two people. From the performing artists, literally every person you bring in comes with like some level of baggage. Then it comes in with their alliances. I mean, for my week, I got roped into a beat battle. As in, like, organizing a beat battle.
Right.
Where we're putting up a $500 prize, and it'll be like a tournament bracket. That came with a whole bunch of shenanigans I wasn't asking for, with people behind the scenes not liking each other. And, like, I don't think people know the level of diplomacy that really goes into trying to, like, manage the projects of being in charge. Like, you literally have to be a politician.
Diplomacy is another thing that goes hand in hand with that same responsibility I was talking about with whether at work or something like this, where it's like, yo, you have to be diplomatic when you're the person in charge. It behooves you to not be a tyrant. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You have to be diplomatic. You have to be willing to hear everybody out on this shit and kind of like, you know, understand how to move so that everybody gets to feel a little bit of love, because you know that it all
because a motherfucker
without that.
Oh my God, like a motherfucker will hold a grudge against you and you won't even know it for years.
You won't even know it, bro.
For years. You'll be like, yo, one time I came into an open mic and I was on the list and they ain't called me up, and I hated that motherfucker ever because he hates me. And it's like, I don't even know who you are, fam. Like it was
that's when you hit the my wife calls that the white girl, right? Like when she was in college and white girls would get drunk and get disrespectful and you start fucking them up, and and then their favorite thing to say as soon as you start swinging on them is, I don't even know you. She's like, bitch, you knew me when you disrespected me to make me put hands on you.
That's funny.
You should know me now. Well, you're gonna get to know me now. She got all sorts of fucking.
Yeah, especially like being diplomatic with artists in particular is, I find, particularly complicated. Like at work, it's diplomatic, but they also want to get paid, so there's a more of a degree of understanding going on. When you're in the art world and nobody's getting paid, it's just wild artists.
Also, especially
artists,
rappers, they have the wildest egos, and you know what's so crazy? The trashiest. the trashiest rappers have the biggest egos. Like the
Every
rappers
time.
who are actually good, the rappers who don't have to like beg for attention are mad calm and whatever because they know it's gonna work out for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? They'll walk into a
Yep.
spot, they're like, yo, they'll call me up, I'll rap, I'll do my thing. But then the
Yep.
motherfuckers who are not like you aren't as good as you think you
Those
are,
are
super thirsty to grab a microphone. Like
super thirst.
they act like, yo, this crowd needs
And
to hear me.
they act, yeah, like the crowd is privileged. I dealt with it with battle rap, right? Where like I'm giving a platform. I was running the training league to get into grind time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I had the most untalented kid at the bottom of the card with the biggest ego and talking the craziest and acting
Mm-hmm.
like he was doing me a
But it's
favor.
like,
And I'm
it
like,
makes sense
I'm
though.
literally doing you a favor by giving you an opponent and granting you a
Right.
stage to perform and be able to show skills. And I've given you multiple opportunities and you've never impressed. And yet you still seem to have this grandiose ego as if though you
No, I
belong at
know
the
it.
top of
So
the
this is
card
what this shit is. I
battling
figured this shit
fucking
out.
T-Rex. And it's like, how, Sway? You can't even beat the guys at the bottom of the card that I'm giving you. And you're acting like you're the best. And it's like, it's incredibly frustrating when you're the person trying to give, when you're the person giving their time, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what that is, essentially. Now I'm giving you my time, which is very valuable
And
to
it's
me.
also
And
like
it's
the
actually very literally valuable, right? Because like
right.
I don't get paid
But
what
like,
everybody else in the country gets
a
paid per
lot of these
hour.
folks though, like what I've come to see is a lot of people work very hard, and they believe that working very hard is the metric by which you should be praised and validated for. Whereas it's like, frankly, there's no such thing as a successful person that didn't work hard. It's like the equivalent of being a nice person. Like, that's just some basic shit. Like, it's not special. You're supposed to have manners in certain situations. You're supposed to, like, work hard if you want to win. But you have these people who work hard but never get the flowers because XYZ reason. They have an ego, they don't listen, whatever it may be. But like, if you're getting flowers for the work you've done, chances are you listened to the feedback that was given to you along the way, adopted it, applied it, grew, went through the painful process of adapting. Like, bro, the music,
The
like
painful
I just dropped the
process of
song,
adapting
right?
and growing.
The song I just put out today sounds nothing like what I would have made 10 years ago. But you know what? People like it more than anything I made 10 years ago, because you have to listen to feedback. Like, Flacco says you have to think about things people would actually want to say. Otherwise, your lyrics are probably not as good as what you think they are, because if nobody's ever going to quote your shit, it'll
I didn't
never
even
be
realize
quoted.
I said that once upon a time.
You've said
But
that so
Holden,
many times.
fantastic. Quote me some
but-
more, sir. Make me sound smart.
But the
But, like,
reality of that
But it's
is
a fact about, like, audiences wanting to participate in your music. What can they connect to if you're just saying a bunch of obtuse shit? You're impressing them. But like, from a song perspective, like a record, like,
I mean,
a few.
it is exactly that, and it's a little more like abstract too, because it's like there's no negotiating with the audience, right? Like, you can't get up there and explain to the audience why they should like your song. Like, hey guys, just listen. This song uses these drums, and this is and this lyric means this, and this is why you should like it. Like that, it doesn't work. They either like it or you don't. No matter how hard you worked, no matter what thought you put into it, no matter what angle you took, some shit just works and some shit just doesn't. And there's so many reasons. It could be the sound of your voice. It could be like the way you're dressed. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, why does MF Doom work and like the other weird like rapper didn't? You know what I'm saying? Why does fucking DMX work and this other dude doesn't? And it's like, it all has to come together to create this one thing. But the thing about rappers with egos and all of this shit is like, you first exist in your own bubble, which is like your friends and the people who love you, and they're all telling you you're so dope. And then you get outside of that bubble, and then when that doesn't, you don't get that same sort of exact interaction. Instead of recognizing that, like, oh, people who don't owe me shit aren't showing me the same love, I need to step my shit up. You're like, oh, these people are hating, or these people don't know shit. You know what I'm saying? But the people who don't owe you shit and the people who don't know you are the real litmus of how dope you
Yep.
are. If you could walk into a
Facts.
room full of strangers, people who never heard your name before, people who might even fucking hate you, and win them over with your art, you're dope. If you can't do that, if you're not doing that, if the only rooms you stay in is with your friends and other artists who are nice to you or who are friends with you or who are at least peers with you, if that's the only place that you're rocking, then you're just fucking, you're swimming around in a small pond. And it's like that's the worst type of artist as a promoter or as a organizer to deal with, because like I have to not step on their ego. You know what I'm saying? I have to not be like, yo, fam, you're not as dope as you think you are. I have to be like, yo, you're gonna get your 15 minutes. We just gotta you gotta wait, blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But at the same time, like they have to sit through them thinking, because they'll go on stage, they'll rock, and then they'll get off stage and expect everybody to fucking suck their dick. And it's like, I mean, yeah, you rapped words, that was okay. And it's crazy because it's like they're not bad. You know,
I
it ain't
mean,
it ain't the trashiest rappers.
I see that a lot of times when those people go on, like I don't know about in New York, but in Montreal, people will wildly just walk the fuck out and go smoke weed. Like if they're really not feeling it, like the crowd isn't going to be very respectful. They will just go outside and.
But you know what? Sometimes these people are talented. Sometimes they are dope. But it's like you're like a 6 and you want to be treated like a 9 or an 8.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like you're good enough to capture the attention of the people, but like after the set's done, nobody's going out of their way to give you a dab.
Right. It's like maybe they don't walk away from your set, but they don't remember what you said after you get off a stage, or they like nothing you said makes them want to like run to fucking Spotify and listen to that song. And it's like that motherfucker, because he knows he's not whack. Like the ego takes over the rest of it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm ranting.
No,
Yo,
bro,
one of the things.
let
Let me jump in, guys.
shit, bro. Like this is like you're spitting
get,
on things I'm complaining about in my private messages.
let me jump in real quick. I could tell you guys right from personal like experience that like
let's name names. No, I'm just
the most
I'm not doing
success.
that now. I learned my lessons.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you said the most successful. We were just being rude. Flacko. We were being rude.
I was like, wait, is my connection fucking up again? Am I fucking glitching
Nah, we're with
here? The most success that I've ever had, period, in my life is like when the switch went off of like knowing to put my ego aside.
Facts.
And knowing that like there's an ego inside me, and learning that like that in certain, it was that movie Revolver from Guy Ritchie, and they had like this whole like thing at the end with like Deepak Chopra and a bunch of other psychologists, psychiatrists, and like other fucking mind people of the world, and like talking about the ego, the human ego, and like how like in certain cultures, Deepak Chopra said that like in Indian culture, like the ego manifests itself as the devil. And I'm like, coming from New York and having the teachings of the gods and the earth, right? It made sense to me that like, oh wait, so if I'm a god, it makes sense that my ego, which is inside of me, would be the devil. I should be good. That every man has the contrast of good and evil. You know what I mean? And like when I learned to check my ego and became so much more like accessible to people, I saw so much more of an increase in uptake. Like my fans, well, I really just call them supporters, right? Because I think it's weird to call people fans. But I'm also not Beyonce and fucking Jay. You know, if I was Beyonce and Jay, there'd be fucking fans. Not everybody's a supporter. You know what I mean?
You can have like fans of your work, right? But like fans of you is kind of weird.
True.
Because like some people like my writing. It doesn't have anything to do with me as a human. It's just the work.
But that's what I'm saying is that like it's interwoven with me now. You know what I mean? Like it's a personal experience. Like when people become like fuck with me, like they're a compliment doesn't come with like just like with nothing attached to it. You know what I mean? Like there's always like a reply guaranteed online. Like, oh, you're commenting on my Instagram or my Twitter or anything on my social media. I'm always taken to like you come in my inbox there. We can have a conversation. You're just not going to be able to manipulate me emotionally the way that you might be able to manipulate a more naive artist that's not like more traveled and just doesn't understand things. Like that's not happening. But I'm going to engage with everybody. And I engage with everybody and I give people my genuine, honest time. Even after shows, I get off stage, I talk with people. I'm not like that guy, like looking for somebody to give me top in the back. But that's what's helped me become so much happier myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As an artist, and you move into this different area. And then what ends up happening is that one thing really does have to do with the other because we're humans.
Yep.
And because that is in check more and there's more peace in my world there, it makes, and my life is in a better place, it makes my art come out in a better way. And now my art becomes better and better than my previous art that, you know what I mean, just didn't have the advantage of like having these life lessons upon them.
Yep.
You know?
But also, just to add to that, what you just
Can
said
I
about,
tell you, we are 35 fucking minutes
good.
into the intro. It's
Beautiful.
Crazy.
It's beautiful. But just
Drake,
to add to what you're saying, something I think a lot about that could even be tied into Drake is like when you look at a lot of people's like regular like lives, how they live, and you compare it to their art. A lot of the people with the bigger egos who struggle with this, like honestly, what they do on their day-to-day is very comparable to a lot of other people's day-to-days. And when you look at like the trajectory of artists or people who tend to make more distinct or creative things, they tend to have been more traveled and seen more, done more, and their regular life contains more unique experiences, and that allows them to connect with a larger number of people, which in turn kind of gives you a better sense of how to reach more people. Because if your whole life's in a sandbox or it's on the internet, especially if it's just on the internet, like good lord, being stuck with the internet as your only feedback is not going to help you sell fucking concert tickets in real life at all, ever.
No.
And you can see that you can argue with me, but all these viral sensations can't move no tickets, and rappers be canceling tours left, right, and center. The internet is not translating into sales the way people want.
Yeah, nah, definitely not at all. There's been, I mean, it's weird because there are examples and there are, like it's like everything in life. I always say there is a yin and a yang to it. There are artists that get formed online and then get a crazy rabid following in person, and they actually do the work and they end up with like this crazy fan. But then a lot of artists, I was literally just talking about that Montreal girl that went famous for the
Pinky Doll.
What was it?
She be eating
Pinky
now.
Doll.
Oh, she was being the NPC where she did like the
word
gang ice cream so
gang,
good
gang.
and all
Ice cream
that
so
shit.
good.
And then she made a couple songs.
Hot dog yum, or some shit like that, right?
And now she just be eating wild food. Like she's now one of those, I'm gonna eat a giant amount of food on camera, subscribe to my OnlyFans types. I mean, she had her OnlyFans the whole time, but like that's her current moves right now. She went from being like NPC girl to like 2-3 song rapper artist person to like now I eat food on the internet.
Right. And so that doesn't always translate because she was the most famous MP. She was the person that you're thinking of when you think of that shit right now. Bax. Like she's there's one that went the most viral and she's the one. And she's from Montreal. And she was wild upset like when she blew up initially. Holden said something along those lines that she was like bothered by like the fact that like Montreal media didn't pay attention to her until she had already blown up off the internet, going viral, and so she wasn't really giving Montreal no interviews because she was like, they never give me no interviews. But it's like that's where you fucked up at, because that was your moment to embrace Montreal. And guess what? When the come down off that viral moment came down, you would have had all of that Montreal love that you gave to be back on. But instead,
people were wildly embarrassed by her instead. Like she is not. She's viewed as a stain on, because there aren't many of us that get that famous, and she did not make the city like look cool. Like it isn't like people saw her and wanted to go check for better music, or they want to go check for better content. If anything, they were looking for the next OnlyFans chick.
You know what people forget? It's like we like to shit on bandwagoners, right? We're like, oh, you just bandwagon and you just hopping on the bandwagon. What are you building the wagon for if not for people to hop on? Like, you know what I'm saying? When you're doing the work to be an artist, to be anything, you're building a wagon for motherfuckers to hop on your band. And it
Man.
doesn't matter if they don't hop on at first. If they hop on, congratulate that shit. Yo, fucking thanks for coming to your fucking senses and hopping on my bandwagon. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like there will be people who will ignore you at one point, and then at another point they'll hop on, and you could hold a grudge. But what is that like? Where's the value in that? Like, that's just like a thing to make you feel good in the moment. To be like, this motherfucker wouldn't give me it. He wouldn't interview me before, so I'm not gonna give him the interview now. But it's like, doing that interview is just introducing you to his fan base. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I
Like,
just think like a lot of people who are put in these positions, like I think to some degree all of us on this call have had some level of like advanced political corporate training or something where we've been taught, whether via the streets or not, how to like deal with people at a level where like we recognize we're not the center of the universe. But a lot of people don't get that exposure. Like if you've never won enough to be in a position where you're the tiniest person in a room, like you don't really get that kind of humbling. Like, but like,
Yeah.
you know, when you get a few moments like that and you realize where you fit into the totem pole. But if you never have that, and like you're doing your second
Most
concert ever,
most people don't get that. Most people just get like, here goes your participation trophy for life,
and also the if anybody's listening, if you're listening right now, the biggest thing is like your feelings are valid, and you'll always have feelings, but there's always levels above feeling, and if you can't access the logic surrounding that, you're always reacting to things, and that like you never win constantly reacting. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he did me wrong, I hate him. That's a reaction. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a level above that. Like Hilla, shout out to Hilla the Earth, my homegirl. She's going
Killer the
viral.
killer.
She's going viral a couple of times. She has like a big Instagram following. Like I think the last time I seen it was like 140K or something like that, right? And she posts things and she gets so many comments on things. And the majority of her comments are positive, but then there are negative comments, right? And then me and her were having a conversation about like the human reaction to wanting to focus on the negative comment. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like you post something and like 1,000 people are like, great fucking job. You're amazing. You're the best thing in the world. I'm happy that you're on this planet. And then one motherfucker is like, go kill yourself. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then we're like, what? Like, how dare you? And it's like, you're rewarding this one person for this
Rewarding for
because that's
negative behavior.
because that's what
I
all
literally
so everybody wants an interaction, right? Even the positive people want an interaction. Nobody wants to just be like, I love you, and then nothing, right? So to focus on the negative person, it's insane. Like, why would you do that? Why not respond to every single positive comment and make those fans bigger fans of you and ignore the fucking negative person?
once upon a time I made a post about how much I dislike Griselda. And on the post came a flood of the homies from upstate that I fuck with. You know what I mean? That are like, we're all like, yo, you bugging. Griselda is it. It's the wave. And then that made the post gain traction because people are commenting, right? And then my friends and supporters and people who are on my Facebook page, just because they like my Facebook page, they don't like nothing else about me. They all start participating and they start, hey, you should check out this track. You should check out this track. Like, I fuck with Griselda, actually. Dutch, I usually fuck with everything you say, but I can't front. I fuck with Griselda. And it got the attention of Benny the Butcher, because Benny had been on my page apparently since I was on Grind Time, and he fucked with me then. And then he commented, and I guess that brought it to the attention of Westside Gunn's page, and he commented and was dropping like videos of him in jewelry and like talking shit to me. And I'm like, yo, y'all bugging. Y'all got all these fans here.
Right.
All these fans that you skipping to come to little old me because I don't like you. When you got wild people here who fuck with you. And it's crazy how many people to this day, like that I know like almost a handful of people, like 3 or 4 people who tell me to this day, like, yo, I don't fuck with Griselda to this day because of that post. because that shit looked crazy to me. Like,
It
how
is
you
crazy,
gonna
especially
ignore?
'cause-
Like, you ignored everybody that was showing you love and like made a beeline for the one dude that to flex on me. It's like, bro,
But what's even
like, what are you
crazier?
doing? Like,
What's even crazier is on your page. Like you didn't
on my
even go.
page,
You didn't
right?
even go to
I didn't
them.
go nowhere. I didn't go to their page, right? I didn't even go to their page. This is just on my page, me expressing my opinion on my page.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
like,
even gonna
listen,
lie. I've heard Flacco haters bring this up as a point of admitting Flacco sometimes has some swagger because even they had to recognize it was such a bad look for the Griselda boys. And it was like they were so shake my heading at him because like it was in the middle of Griselda's like biggest run. And
But
they
that's
took
yeah, it
time out
was.
of their day
It was.
to go comment on his post multiple times.
But that's my point about like being reactionary, right? Because like their feeling of feeling like I guess disrespected or feeling like whatever, valid. Your feelings are valid. But if you take a second to like get to the logic above the feeling, like you realize like yo, there's nothing to win on a Facebook post. Like you know what I'm
Nothing.
saying? And if you can only to Flacco's point, like you could have benefited it by like bigging up every single person that shouted you
Right.
out.
Take your
And
time. Take your time to appreciate all the love. Like, look at that post. Like, you got a post of one person saying they dislike you, and then almost everybody in the
Mhm.
comments, like probably like 98%, like maybe there was one other or two other people who agreed with me. But then from there, it was like 10 to 40 people like disagreeing with me. You should have took pride in the fact that I'm clearly in the minority here, but instead you took the time to approach the minority in the situation and be like, look at my jewels and my cars. Listen, don't get it wrong. I be stunting too. You know what I mean?
but
And
also
I be stunting on people that I know have less than me. And they definitely have more than me. You know what I mean? But
But
let me
I'm
tell you
but also
saying
that
something. What
doesn't
I
mean
there
have,
might be
you know
like
what I,
there
you know
might
what
be
I have
one
more
like
of? Hold on, let me finish this sentence.
yeah.
Let me finish this sentence. You know what I have more of? Motherfucking understanding of fucking how to operate in life in a way that keeps me clearly in a more stable and peaceful place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get into shit with people on my chosen time on my page. I deal with it and operate with it like how I want to, like almost like an abusive fucking boyfriend, right? Where I'm just like, look, bitch, I got attention. I got time for you when I got attention for you. You know what I mean? But when
Yeah.
I'm not, when I'm done and I turn off this phone, you don't get no more attention from me. Ain't no notifications. Not interrupting my regular life type shit. But this is all like healthy way of dealing with shit.
That
You know what
reminds
I
me of
mean? Like,
The Tyler the Creator was he talks about cyberbullying and he's like, how is cyberbullying a real thing? Just
it's
turn
not
the
a real
computer.
thing.
Just turn the
Turn
computer.
it off. Just turn it off. Like, just turn it off and go deal with people. But you know, most people aren't. You know, that's part of like what most people are dealing with in most places. Not everybody lives in a major city. There are only so many major cities across the entire world. Most countries aren't filled with like a bunch of
or
major cities,
like if
right?
you're
And
like
even when you have a
in
major city, a majority of your country operates in the rest of the country. Most people aren't from major cities. When you're not from a major city, there's less to do. There's less interaction. You live very far from people. You're distant from people. Like, all you really have sometimes for a lot of these people now is the internet.
yeah.
So to them, it's like you know, but like they need
And
to
it's
make the
like,
effort.
to
I'm
be
here to
fair,
tell
and
them,
all that
go
and effort of
outside,
that, when
touch
you
some
do
grass.
have like bad cyber stalking type shit, like let's say you're a lady and somebody's harassing you on a regular, like yo, Bonnie had an experience like that. To the point like we had to go to the police. Like it gets to a point where like Bonnie had to keep her Insta on private. Like she couldn't post publicly and get viral cat love because of
Yo,
online
Yeah,
stalking.
yeah, yeah. And
Like just to
also
not belittle that at all, just because like
nah.
having tried to deal with it, it's way harder to deal with than you'd think.
right. And
But
the
also,
Tyler the Creator
I
thing
just
is
wanted to,
hyperbole.
yeah. But I did want to add one thing about the Flacco thing that may have like added, not to justify it, but added an extra layer. If Benny's a fan of Dutch, because from back in the day, he's just wanted your approval because he was a fan of you, and then seeing somebody he looked up to diss him, that shit always slaps harder. Whether or not it's a justified reaction, that shit slaps harder when you look up to somebody and they kind of like end up
I
not
mean,
approving of
it
you.
really just doesn't
Whether or
matter,
not
man. They're
it's,
winning, you know. Like, I remember
yeah,
being wrong about them before that. Like, before that, I had made a post like a year or two before where I was like, yo, Griselda's never gonna be big. They'll never have a Jay-Z feature or a Drake feature. And then it was like 1 year later, it was like Jay-Z signed these niggas. Like what? I was like, God damn, I was wrong about that. And then Drake was co-signing them. I was like, whoa, shit, look at it. And then they ended, this is after that fucking post. They end up on a Kanye album. It's like, I was super wrong about them. Like, take solace in that. Like,
but that goes to my. But that also goes to my point about the logic above the feeling. So like it does hurt when someone you look up to maybe like doesn't fuck with you, right? But like that's the feeling, and if you react to the feeling, what are you really winning? Like now this person has a reason not to fuck with you, like you know what I'm saying, and you made yourself look worse. But if you tap into the logic behind the feeling, like if he would have reached out to Dutchman like I fucked with you from back then, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe that would have been the thing to open up Dutch to listening to like more of the music, or maybe not. Like who knows? But there's always or just ignore the shit and enjoy winning your life. Like, you know, like there's always the reaction, and motherfuckers who that's how road rage happens, yo.
Again, I was not on their page, right? I was on my page.
Right. That's how motherfuckers that's how people throw their life away in an instant. It's because you constantly reacted to things.
Some of these other people make you react, though.
I mean, it's a human thing. I'm not like we can't shit.
Yeah, I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. That traffic can be upsetting,
right?
And that other people in traffic can do things that are very upsetting and can upset you. But it's about understanding to have the control to not let that situation get you outside your, you know what I mean? Who you are, your character. Like you gotta know and stay strong in who you are. Like, nah, I'm not even gonna, because that shit's a fucking waste of my time. You know what I mean?
You know what it is for a lot of people? For a lot of people, ignoring the feeling feels like losing, and they don't like that.
I believe all of this is like a preface to the Drake conversation. But before we get into that, I got to do a whole thing with work where I ended up getting this cool Basquiat flask. I thought it was freaking cool.
Before you promo, son, you gonna take it easy on your fellow Canadian brethren. You know what I mean? You got to.
Yeah, I'm good.
Don't turn on Drake now.
I never turned on Drake. I will say
some strong with the man.
I'm not like publicly going out there right now because I'm not into the standing with.
You're not into arguing. You're not into letting people fucking pummel you when they already.
I'm just like I'm letting it play out a little bit, but like to the point, I'm telling everyone my favorite joint's Family Matters right now off this shit still. I will admit that Kendrick's not like us or whatever. That shit be like
not like us keeps growing on me more and more. Every time I hear it, it grows on me more and more and more.
Probably struck a chord. It's probably A minor. I'm like, that's the bar of the battle. And then what's crazy about it is on Twitter, Baca keeps trending, which I will not speak more on than what's happening because I've been advised.
Yeah, you better be careful now. Don't start talking about gangsters in Canada without being careful.
But he just keeps trending, and they keep quoting the line, and that's a fact of what's happening on Twitter, and they putting memes to it. So like,
the internet's ruthless. The internet don't give a fuck. Like the internet's like, oh, we're not all in Canada, motherfucker. You can't catch all of us.
Not all of that. But like, not to like, that's it. And I'm just like, wow. I mean, like the lines that came out of that joint after you really listen to it, Kendrick slapped hard.
Let's get into it, yo. Let's finally get to the actual show, right? I mean, yo, this was a great conversation, though.
Yeah,
this was wild gems of life. That's like, if there's somebody in their like mid-20s or like late 20s watching this right now, like, yo, and they listen to all that, I hope that they took away all the gems that was in there. So there was a lot of fucking gems.
All of that, I dropped a fucking song on Friday, so that happened last week for me. And so y'all gotta go run up my joint and go listen to that.
Oh, we didn't even get to your week, Holden.
We didn't get to my week. It was pretty good, but went out there, filmed my little video, got a little Basquiat flask, which I think is cool, because they teamed up with a matcha place.
Put it from the side. More from the other side. Like you already
Like,
have it. Right. Let me see all the dimensions. Yeah. Okay, so it's kind of like a. Okay, now I
so
get
that's
it better.
the company that gets that, like, partnered with them, and then it's just got that on the back.
It's almost like a plastic bottle.
Yeah, it's a little flask,
But
and it's got a
yeah.
bunch of.
It's dope.
So I just thought it was cool to like do that, and we had to like drive around and look for murals and shit, so because they wanted it. I'm like, what are you gonna put with Basquiat? I felt like graffiti was too much for a company, but it would have been more appropriate. But we went with murals instead, and they fucking really liked it. So that was cool to do that. Dropped a song, which is fun, and got sucked into this beat battle business and started organizing an event out of nowhere. And then I went to visit my mom's, and we had a bunch of souvlaki because that's all she ever wants every year. Souvlaki, like clockwork. And she wants it from the same spot, and that's what we get. But
Give the woman what she wants.
That's a fact. But yeah,
She should be running. She should be running a company one. She's decisive with her decisions.
Yeah, she should.
That's the other thing. You be having people who be like running a company of one, everything's on them, and they're the most indecisive person you know. Like, what? What are you doing?
Everyone want to be in charge till they're in charge. But
Drake, man, so, let's get to it, yo.
Nothing else that exciting happened.
It was a crazy week. Of more, like, listen, you were saying at the beginning, Holden, that like, yo, compared to last week, it was a very calm week. I think that it like is the calm, not the calm before the storm or in the eye of the storm, but like I think it's like the calm of like everybody kind of like the shock of the fight actually happening. You know what I mean? Like the shock is reverberating. Like every day there were things, you know what I mean? Like there were multiple things. There were multiple, like, let's just talk about everything all in once encompassing, right? Like there was 3 incidents that happened at Drake's home. I was looking, when I was making the list of what we're going to talk about, I was looking at it, and 6 days ago on TMZ, DJ Academics was just talking about how like the battle's not over, but like he's got Kendrick edging it right now. 6 days ago. You know what I mean? So that was Tuesday of last week. You know, we're here on Monday, and just Tuesday of last week, the day after our episode last week, the energy from Academics was like, nah, you know what I mean? Like, but now when I'm like making it today and I'm really looking at it, like it's almost like media companies that are a part of the culture and media companies that are outside of the culture are all using the terminology of Drake lost this battle. Drake lost this battle that Drake lost. Everybody on the internet is in general agreement for the most part. Like I said, all the media outlets, right? Like Joe Buttons is like dancing to Not Like Us on his podcast. And so it's just crazy how like it feels like it's been a quiet week, but it's like not really. Like there's still, it's the shock. Every day there's a shock and more news and more like, you know, who was it? Stevie Wonder's like, oh, there's battles of distraction from the real wars happening in the world. And who else was it?
Russell Simmons.
Was it Russell Simmons that also commented? Oh no, Questlove.
Oh yeah, he posted that stuff.
Questlove said, fucking truly indeed, my friends, hip hop is dead. Because the battle got so messy. Malcolm Jamal Warner was talking about how like the beef is, he just disliked it, and like hip hop is anti-black, rap is anti-black. It's just a lot, you know, like every day you're getting these names. You said Bill Cosby also said something?
No, Russell Simmons.
Russell Simmons. Right.
That's a wild mix-up.
It kind of
I mean,
fair enough.
You know what's so crazy about all of that?
The point is, all these names, you know what I mean? Like, where it's just like, yo, Stevie Wonder's talking about this beat. TMZ is covering this beat. You know what I mean?
Mainstream, like to a point where the radio that the mom radio station of Montreal was talking about this beef.
Wow.
Because Like it got that big, bro. Like
A fucking what's
Drake
the
called
actor's
Montreal
name?
a small town, and oh
What
boy,
actor?
Montrealians did not like that shit.
Fat guy. He like her. He's a Jewish
Fat
guy.
Albert?
No,
Oh.
Jewish fat dude. He's in a lot of the. He was in Freaks and Geeks. He was in
Oh, Seth
Seth
Rogen.
Rogen. I was
Seth
about to
Rogen.
say, yo,
Seth
right
Rogen
before
was
you got closer,
describing.
as you said, you was
Yeah.
gonna be Holden.
Seth Rogen was describing
You're
the
not
beef
fat anymore, Holden. I'm sorry.
on stage.
We working on it. We working
But-
on it. It's like a middle.
But this is the phenomenon that I've been thinking about that I
I know what
find
you're
interesting.
talking about. It's Seth. Yeah, go on with Seth Rogen.
Yeah, he was on stage describing the beef to the Netflix is a joke crowd. I seen them reference it on a wrestling thing. Oscar Mayer has like the BBL
The
glizzy.
music,
BBL
not like us, was playing
BBL
on.
Drizzy is
Bro,
everywhere.
BBL Drizzy is winning the beef. If
There's
there
a
was
Spanish
clear
there's a
winner,
Spanish
it's-
version, there's an emo version. But let me tell you the phenomenon that I witnessed. Drake lost the same way that Drake wins. So Drake wins by saturating sort of like the what do you call it? Not the zeitgeist, but he's everywhere doing everything. The only person who does this better than Drake is Snoop Dogg. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where like he can go on a record and talk some gangster shit, and then the next week he can like be with Martha Stewart, or he could be like doing this or doing that. In the middle of
You
his
could go on
beef,
Sesame Street the next week and nobody
Right.
would question it.
and in the middle of his beef with Meek Mill, Drake was on Saturday Night Live with the beat to back in a sketch. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that saturates this throughout the culture in so many different facets that it wouldn't usually reach. And Drake memes
fact.
himself. He turns himself
Yes.
into a meme. Over like when he did the hotline bling, and it's like the and the like, you know what I'm saying? This is how Drake has like got his music and his face everywhere, right? But
True
then
story.
it backfires.
Keep going, Baxter. Keep cooking.
It backfires with this Kendrick shit because now that he's lost, now that Kendrick has done this, that same sort of those same pathways that allowed him to be everywhere is now leaking the diss everywhere. So now everyone's talking about it. Now it's a punchline for everything. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Saturday Night Live sketch about it. Like, you know, like it becomes as ubiquitous as he's made himself be everywhere. So now his loss is almost like a total loss. Like it's become one of those things where it's like you reference it and everybody knows what you're talking about. You're like, damn,
I will say-
that motherfucker got beat like Drake got beat by Kendrick. And then people are like, oh yeah, Drake did get beat by Kendrick. We know what you're talking about.
But like I will
Right.
say to the point that you make like last week about the songs. So far, if we're counting by number of requests in Holden's Uber, which is a terrible metric, Family Matters is the only song that got requested so far. And the fact that after Drake lost, somebody would still get in the Uber and want to put on that joint because that's what they were feeling.
Family
I think
Matters
that's
is
the thing about is with
the
the thing
third
about
best
Drake
song.
fans. I would give it
The
first,
third
but that's
best,
okay.
according-
Maybe not like
What,
us. We'll grow
what,
up
give us,
more.
come on now.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
The number
Back.
one song out of this fucking shit is BBL Drizzy. Like
Yeah, that's a
even
fact. I
even
take
my
it
girlfriend was walking around the house like BBL Drizzy, BBL
What,
like
what the fucking beat that Metro made?
yeah, that shit is
No,
everywhere.
that is
No,
by
I mean,
far.
I've-
If
no, I've
we're being
definitely heard
objective,
I've
no,
definitely
if-
heard it everywhere, but there's no song that goes to it, right? It's just
No,
a
but
beat.
like so
that's-
no. Maybe you don't know the whole
There's-
thing.
people have made
Like, half the song is
nobody
a sample
rappers
chorus.
online are doing
but-
songs to the beat.
So the
But-
original song was created by a comedian. I think he might even use AI to do it. It's like it's just a comedian who's post these AI shits. Then Metro Boomin took that song and made some fucking drums. Metro's whole ass went and made some drums, which is even funnier because that's what Drake told him to do. And he put it over the drums, and that version of it is everywhere. So what I'm saying,
Right,
like,
the BBL Drizzy.
right out of everyone who
BBL
created a song
Drizzy.
to in the battle, like that's Metro's diss song to Drake, and that shit is everywhere. And I think like that's the number one song that came out of this.
I mean,
one.
I had
Which
to like
one?
take it
Which one would
back.
you have at number 2?
Yeah.
Oh,
Not Like
fucking yeah, Not Like Us. That I mean, come
And
on,
then number 3, Family Matters.
Family Matters. Yeah,
Word.
That's
Word.
fair.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at you. That's
that
a legit
either.
list. Yeah,
Because
that's a
like as
respectable
much
list.
as I was saying it, like BBL Drizzy is going to be because here's the thing, BBL Drizzy's the ones that the women are going around singing right now. As in, like,
Yo, when I saw the
I don't know if y'all
Spanish
saw
BBL
the
Drizzy, I was
gospel
dying,
one.
yo.
This guy was like filming his mom coming up the stairs. Some like 50-year-old lady in a nightgown, just BBL Drizzy with the laundry and shit. And like that's the effect this song has. It's a real earworm in a way where like
You don't even think about Drake when you hear it anymore.
You're just like it's its own thing. Even though
Right.
so like the whole world is just dissing Drake accidentally now. Because the song is so catchy, you can't help it. Even if
Way
you're
to
on
fucking
Team
go,
Drake,
Metro Boomin.
he shut his whole ass up and made some drums and won the battle by
shut his
himself.
whole ass up
Although
and made
hashtag
some
Metro
drums.
Grooming also
now
went
don't
off
you
last
took it
week.
too far, Holden. I'm mad at won the battle by himself. Come on, chill out, Holden. They putting too much sauce on it. You know what I mean? Just leave it at what it was.
I took the sauce away right after.
Won the battle by being fucking just as fucking astute as Drake or use the internet.
But
just
also,
as
he
well.
didn't create the original song. Shout out to that comedian. I don't even know
Yeah,
his
the
name,
comedian.
and that's whack.
Yeah, fair. But yeah,
Yo,
then
shouts to the
also just
comedian.
on the subject of Metro Grooming, he got in trouble for tweets he
Metro
made back in the
Grooming?
day. Yeah, that shit went
Oh
real
yeah,
viral.
Metro Grooming. Right.
And,
Metro Grooming.
All things
Also,
considered,
yo, that's the
that's
thing,
a big
right?
stain on his name right now.
Yo, Metro Grooming, yo, the tweets were crazy.
Super
crazy. Then it's just like, yo, this is why I say that. Like, yo, it's like, oh, it was a calm week. It's like, was it? Somebody got shot at Drake's property. Let's talk about that. Like, Drake's home has been under fire. What fucking happened was that Drake's security guard was hurt in a shooting at his home. Also, there were reports that a trespasser was caught at his mansion, and then another report that another trespasser got into an altercation at his home with a security guard. So then Drake made a post asking the news to stop flying their CP-24 chopper over his house when he's trying to sleep. And then Glasses Malone told him he's not hip-hop because he did not indeed grow up with helicopters over his home. To which I'm like, that is crazy, bro. You gotta chill. like this is when we try to like, yo, define blackness, and it's like, oh, please don't put that in the definition. Like,
right. I mean, there's not that many helicopters in Montreal. So like, anyway.
Also, there's nothing about helicopters over your house that's ubiquitous in the hip hop experience. If you lived in Compton and you was a fucking white person who hated every Negro around, there was a helicopter over your house as well. That don't make you hip hop because of that. But it's the internet and it's entertainment. And Glasses Malone, that's funny. It's funny what you said. It was funny.
Glasses Malone definitely, like, I feel like he's on his Howard Stern meets Joe Rogan of hip hop, trying to type of you know what I mean? Like, he's trying to have the opposing opinion to the majority of black media without being Candace Owens, but like damn near towing the line of like saying similar things without, ever being racist in any way. Says, oh, but you can't be. But whatever. The point being,
I want to say
another blurb of like Drake news, right? That's just like, yo, that also happened. Like, there's like shootings, trespassers, probably because of the whole cover beef and the song cover.
So what they're saying is that this is not like I don't know anything except for what has been said on the internet very publicly. But my understanding is this is more related to the EXO beef than it is related to
right. That's what I heard.
Because we need to also keep in mind that EXO's the manager guy got that's harassed in Florida, or no, he got harassed in LA or wherever he was. Like, he was involved in an incident. So there is also a separate situation. And
let me tell you something. Let me say something, Holden. Let me get the platform. Let me speak to Canada. Nav and Belly is some bitch ass niggas. Let me tell you something. And them type of Indian niggas like that, that's some bitch ass niggas, they be potential to do all sorts of crazy shit. They'll send all the most following ass fucking don't have a brain of their own, fellow Indians to their demise and death on some kamikaze shit. Now I'm mixing cultures, but I'm just saying. They like I'm talking shit and I'm being facetious, to be honest with you, because I don't know them, right? But like when I watch
Don't
their
get me in
interviews,
trouble.
I feel like a certain type of energy from them that's like a desperation to be like. Belly's a little bit cooler than Nav, but still like desperation.
I mean, people really, really like and
And the
respect Belly
people
up
that
here.
are down for people like that are the people willing to take a bullet and like also go kamikaze crazy and like, what? We're at war with Drake. Fucking fuck him.
No, but
We'll
on the
fucking show
real,
up and beat up
like,
his fucking
okay, like,
security guard.
I'm not like I know a lot of people from Toronto at this point, right? And so like I'd be watching people in Toronto post about it, and all these people are taking it really personal. A lot of people, especially the OGs or whatever, there's a lot of them that do kind of want to go that far with it on some very divided feelings about Drake on either side of the fence, depending on how you feel about him and your interactions with his team and his camp over the years. And like, I don't know, like it's there is a fear that people are going to take it a little too far, especially if his house is under fire. Like 3 separate people have been injured at Drake's house in the last 3 days. And then one of the guys,
he's
got beat
gonna.
up.
I tell you this. He's gonna have to pay a lot more security insurance fees for his like employees that are security. Like all that shit costs like that shit costs money. Also, don't get it twisted. Like that shit's a pain in the ass. You know all that shit. His insurance, the same way that you're like a vehicle. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have insurance on employees that have dangerous positions, like security, like your labor workers, you know what I mean? Like you have, or the company that hires, but either way, you end up paying for that. Because if the company that you're hiring them from, their insurance goes up because they have employees that are getting hurt on the job under you, what the fuck do you think they're gonna do when their insurance fees go up? They're going to literally go to you, Drake, and be like, yeah, so the rates went up, you know? Yesterday's price is not today's price. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact. But I wonder if like there's a premium hike based on number of violent incidents at your house. Like if they track it like in a car where like if you declare shit it goes up. Like if you're like a certain type of famous person,
Holden's the number man.
I can't help it.
But definitely, because like there's more people. Like if you're more likely to get shot at than someone else, there's got to be a higher rate, right? Like, and if people are getting shot where you live, that's indicative of the danger that it costs to like protect you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like that's got to be higher. And also, even as a security guard, like if it's likely that we're gonna get into some gunfire, maybe I just don't want that job,
Right.
But also, like, did he not anticipate this? Like,
I mean, like Drake's house is very obvious. Like it's not one of them places you can hide. Like I'm pretty sure anybody that wants Drake's exact address can find it on Google Maps because it's like one of them houses that's so big you can find it on Google Maps even without the address.
I don't know. Kendrick lives in Brooklyn,
Toronto. Yeah.
I didn't know that until
Preacher saying Drake owns the security company. Literally, he ain't paying more fees.
I saw that there was a thing on the internet where they were like, we were trying to call the office of the security company and nobody answered the phone, and we realized that the car was registered to one Aubrey D. Graham, and I'm like, all right, spare me the details of the investigation. Tell me
that's fine too. Like it makes sense for you. I say this all the time. When you're a big rapper like that, it makes sense for you you're already a corporation. You should run your corporation like what it is. And those are your employees. You have staff. You have staff that cleans your home, does your laundry. You have staff that are assistants and help you with you have staff that's social media. You have security. You have everybody's staff. And the more people you have on staff, the bigger your budget is, the better your tax breaks, the better you're running your corporation.
Also, Preach brought up an interesting point where the city may revoke his license since he lobbied for them to change the rules in that area because, like, he basically built a custom house in Toronto, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, his home is like the zip code of one zip code, so you get to do shit like that. Like if my house is so big that it takes up a whole zip code, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to fucking my government and I'm gonna be like, hey, I own a big chunk of land. I'm gonna do what the fuck I want on this land, okay? Say okay. Say okay. Okay, great, thanks. You know,
and then,
like,
yeah.
and they're gonna be like, yes, motherfucker, you just bought a fucking huge piece of land. Thanks for the money. You know, thanks for
But
all the
also,
like
like,
money
you
you're gonna
have to
pay
keep
us
it safe,
in
though.
water and gas and yeah, absolutely. So this is what I'm saying is Drake's rate, his price went up with all these incidents happening at his home, whether you like it or not. Whether if it's some other company that he's renting the security from, or it's his own company. Even if it's his own company, then now the government's gonna raise the. It's gonna be a change in things. There's gonna be a way that this affects him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. You gotta keep it safe. It's not a good look for him if, you know, bad things keep happening. But I guess, what do we think happens next with the beef? Like, does this keep it quiet? I've been watching academics out there kind of acting like the weekend was going to be quiet, but Monday was going to be the day of the big reveals, and Monday has not come, and to my knowledge, there were no big reveals.
I think we've already established that academics just be saying shit and it doesn't matter. Like, you know, if you make a bunch of predictions, sometimes they're gonna be right, sometimes they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said, Kendrick wasn't gonna drop again, and Kendrick dropped several times after that. So I don't give a fuck what academics is saying. The second
We
thing,
literally covered that on this show.
the second thing is, I guess we don't talk about the rumors that Universal Music Group is putting pressure on Kendrick and the Weeknd to stop beefing with Drake because they say it's like they're losing money behind the beef at this point.
I mean, I could believe something like that. Like that makes absolute sense to me. Like if I'm the CEO of Universal Records and I have all these artists under my umbrella, and one of the most lucrative ones, meaning Drake, is like losing opportunities or just getting, you know, Nike calling my office and being like, hey, what the fuck is going on with that beef over there? I'd be like, I don't know. I'm on it right now. You
like,
know what I mean?
Like nothing.
Nike, let me tell you something. I'm going to take care of it, motherfucker. And get off the phone and be like, call up Kendrick's manager. Call up fucking Weeknd's manager. Call up Drake too, matter of fact. You know what I mean?
But,
Tell him I want him to know that I'm trying to take care of this.
But I will say this. I don't think this is the last time we're going to hear about it. Like, I don't think this is the last time
absolutely
it'll
not.
be mentioned. I don't know if we're going to get any more diss records because, like, what would be the point?
Yes, we will. Come on.
But at this point, what would be the point? Like, Kendrick, like, you won. Like, to drop, if Kendrick was to drop another diss record, it would just be like kicking a dead body.
All right, maybe not a diss record, even though I still do think that that's like an option. I think
he has more.
I did at the end of last week's episode still feel like, yo, they will, even if they don't diss each other immediately, there will be a diss song to each other on their respective solo albums.
I don't think there'll be a whole song.
I don't think there might be a whole song, but I definitely think there will be subliminals and shots.
Yeah.
They've always been doing that.
And
they've
that's
been
what I
doing
mean.
that for the entire of like Kendrick's career. Since
that's what I mean
Control.
when I say this isn't the last time we're gonna hear about it.
Yeah.
Like they'll rap about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? People will talk about it. I'm pretty sure when they do, like, there's no way that either of them are gonna do an interview where they're not asked about it. This is like the new Jay-Z and Nas, where it's like this is a defining moment in your careers. You two are locked together forever because of it, and like you will never get out of from under this. You know what I'm saying? Who knows? Maybe 10 years from now they'll fucking make up and do a record together. They'll call it black. What political parties do you guys got in Canada? You got Republicans?
No, we have the Conservative Party of Canada. We have the New Democratic Party of Canada, the Liberal Party of Canada, the Green Party of Canada, and the Bloc Québécois.
Very descriptive.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm making fun of
is the Conservative Party conservative?
They are, yeah, but they're more liberal, like, than your shit. So like it's like a weird thing where like, because part of Canadian identity is to be left of the U.S. Like we like our baseline is like whatever y'all do, we baseline a little bit more left. On
Right.
paper, that's like the main cultural like point, and so our politics is based off of that. I know when I watched the last federal election, it just felt like everybody was for the same things, and it was really eerie, and there was not a lot of differences between these parties anymore, except for the Bloc Québécois. They exist for one thing only, and that's to represent Quebec and get Quebecers a better deal than the rest of the the rest of the country. And so I don't hate them. They do have my best interests at heart.
But I was making fun of the song "Black Republicans," which was the Jay-Z and Nas song.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm saying that there will be
Black
like a Drake.
Conservative Party of Canada.
Right, exactly, between Drake and Kendrick. But yeah, I think where I'm at with the whole beef and battle is like I have nothing to say about it until something else happens. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Kendrick won. If not by your personal estimation, by the collective estimation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Kendrick won. And everybody, it is in everybody's best interest to let it be that. Like Drake releasing another song would be inadvisable. You know what I'm saying? Like, do not, Drake, do not. Not because he couldn't come back, not because he couldn't whatever, just because prolonging this moment out isn't in your best interest. Like, move on to whatever else is you got going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing for Kendrick. Like, you don't want this battle to become what you're known for in 2024. Like, drop an album that's dope. Do like take the momentum of this moment and do something else. You know who I feel bad for the most? The most? Big Sean. I feel bad for Big Sean. He was gearing up to come back. He was like he put out that pew 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 record, pew 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 pew. You know what I'm saying? And then this happened, and nobody mentioned him once. You know, he was always like, they was like, we're the big three, and Big Sean was always like, and me, like, you know what I'm saying? Not once did anybody say, where's Big Sean at all?
No, that's what it was supposed to be initially, right? Like before Kendrick came into the picture, because Big Sean was in. It was
on his record.
Big Sean, Drake, and J. Cole were the ones, right? Because J. Cole had Jay-Z backing him, Drake had Lil Wayne backing him,
mm-hmm.
and then Big Sean had Kanye backing him. So it just made sense that this was going to be the future. And then out of nowhere, Kendrick dropped Section 80. And next thing you know, we're all like highly anticipated. Next thing you know, swimming pools is here. Next thing you know.
Also, the Control song is a Big Sean song.
Big Sean's record.
It's his song.
And yeah, it's his song. And it's not his song anymore.
Yo, you know how ill that...
Ever since that moment, he's been...
I'm pretty.
Yo, I can tell you. Let me tell you something. Hold on. Both of you, hold on, because I can tell you something. As a Big Sean fan, like I'm actually like, look, I get it. I defend Drake because to me, I'm a go opposite of what everybody's always going. So everybody's like, everybody in the city's like, nah, fuck Jay-Z. We love Nas. I'm like, nah, fuck all y'all. I love Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Like, oh, everybody's sucking shit about? No. This is where I'm going. I'm gonna be over here on the popular side, right? And so I do a lot of defending of Drake just off that. But there's all sorts of stances, not even stances, music that Drake's made throughout the years that I'm just like, man, fucking Drake, bro. Like you annoy me in so many ways. But Big Sean,
he can't stop being Canadian.
I've always been a huge fan of Big Sean. Like he not just because everybody didn't like him, and then my nature is to like him because of that.
He can rap too.
I liked him off rip because he had a style that was like originating. Like it was a new style that nobody had. That punchline flow was his.
Yeah,
he originated that.
Yep.
He's the one that did that, and like everybody ran with it and benefited more than he did off of it. And
you know why Big Sean didn't benefit off of it? Like the more I watch Big Sean, the more I see he's like a good even person. Like he's not a
Yeah,
scumbag.
nah,
He's
he's
not
not a scumbag.
he
He's
doesn't
a really
wild
nice
out.
guy.
Like he went on
He's a
drink
really nice guy.
he went on drink chips and told Nori, you need to watch your drink.
Yo,
He was like,
my
"Yo,"
God.
he was like, "This isn't healthy for you, Nori. I'm worried about you." Like that's the kind
Yo,
of guy Big Sean
such
is.
a good
He's
guy,
friends.
man.
He's friends with his
Such a nice
exes.
guy.
You know,
Oh my
Ariana Grande's
God.
like Big Sean's a
Yo,
nice guy.
when you saying it reminded me of a video that I saw this
Should
week
put that
that
on wax.
reminded me of Big Sean's rollout that was about to happen that you're mentioning. And
Mm-hmm.
that immediately made me be like, oh my God, Big Sean was J. Cole before J. Cole. Like he was a softy. Like like
Right.
if J. Cole is the bitch ass that like threw a rock and then was like, no, sorry. Then like Big Sean is the cuck that held the rock. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I always look.
like
I don't think.
it's just been he's been brutalized in all of this in a sense of like by being ignored and not being included. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he was really one of them. It was about Rushmore, but it became a
But
big
it's just
three,
like
and he was left. And then, by the way, check this out. Even if it wasn't Mount Rushmore, Childish Gambino just dropped
I
last
saw that.
night,
The
and
song.
people are talking about on Twitter. People are talking about how criminal it is that like if he tried a little bit more, he could be one of the big three if he actually put an effort in. This is people online that I
I
saw
don't know about
trending,
that.
right? I of course agree because also another big fan of Childish Gambino, right?
I love Childish
But
Gambino. Everything but that first album.
but I think it's hilarious how even Childish Gambino gets acknowledged in this beef, but
Yeah.
Big Sean is just ignored, stricken from the fucking record, bro.
Yo,
Like
that's because
everybody's just like, whatever. That's just little fucking Sean over there.
some
Just let him
some
fucking be. He gonna fucking tire himself
some
out and
people
go
just
home
like,
can't win.
eventually.
Some people
but it's
just can't
also
win even when
like
they win.
I don't know that I've
Right.
ever been like I want to listen to Big Sean when I'm in a bad mood or on some negative shit. Like he makes like my favorite song by him is Bounce Back. It's like
You
about
should
What
you
bouncing
should you should
back
check
and
you should
shit.
check out Dark
what
Sky
about
Paradise.
what
He has
about
a
I don't
bunch of
fuck with
classic
you?
shit on there.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
fuck
even
with you.
but that's still fun. It's fun, right? You're out there
Don't forget,
drinking.
bitch,
I
I'm
don't
fucking
fuck
with
with,
you.
but it's fun. You could party. That people do that shit at karaoke. White
Yeah, you're
girls,
right.
white girls do
You're
that
right.
shit at karaoke. So like I never once in my life because like I did a couple Big Sean album reviews and bro, I'm actually a really big fan too. I think he's one of the nicest songwriters in this. But like he makes good music that makes me feel good about myself. And then he's witty and he's clever and shit. And even
Nah,
when
I
he
don't think he's
flexes
the
on
best
me,
songwriter. I think he's just the best
I said
rapper out the bunch.
I think he's a really good songwriter. I didn't say the best. He's a really good one though. His shit's catchy. But I never get the aggression out of him. So when it comes
That's
time to
because he's
battle,
not. He's a good
it's
guy.
like why
That's
do I want
why.
Big Sean jumping in the middle of this shit? Like this is not an arena I have in my brain for Big Sean. So it's like he just like I just don't think I don't
Big
even want
Sean's
to hear
got
him
the
diss
same
no
issue.
one.
Big Sean's got the same issue like a Chance the Rapper has, where it's like you're working on yourself to be like a good person, but like good people don't make like the best music because music is an examination of our flaws. You know what I'm saying? So when Chance the Rapper was like, you know, on acid and like wilding out, people were like, yeah, fucking cocoa butter kisses, burn holes in my hoodie. And then he's like, I love my wife. And they're like, all right. Knock it off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then fucking Big Sean is this is the same way. It's like you're obviously working on yourself to become like a better person. And it's like that doesn't make compelling music. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it sucks that's kind of the way art works. But like when we listen to music, we want to see people, we want to see ourselves in people. And the most compelling part of ourselves are our flaws. We look at Lil Wayne and he's rapping about pussy all the time and he's high. And it's like we don't necessarily need to be exactly that, but we live through that. Drake isn't like, you know, the best person. He indulges in his vices and we see that and we like live through that. You know, Big Sean, a lot of rappers do this too. A lot of rappers, like when you rap from your head and you're coming up with concepts, it's like, is it is it you though? You know, what's like even the new song? What's the new song about that? Pew, 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 pew. He's like, I'm
I
pew, pew,
haven't even
pew.
heard it.
Yeah. Anyway,
No, but what's it? I could look on Genius if you want.
no. We don't gotta dive in. But what I did want to say
Man.
is, you know how ill that control verse is by Kendrick on that Big Sean song. People don't even, when they talk about it, they literally talk about the verse. They like, and then the control verse. No one has ever said that control
The
song.
song
Not once.
with
Not
by
once.
Big Sean, also featuring Jay Electronica, one of my
But
favorites.
I don't
Jay
think
Electronica's on that song.
Yeah, yo.
Wow.
Yes.
No wonder he was pissed at Kendrick.
Yeah. They both were, because it was like, oh, motherfucker, you should have told us you were going to war. But it's also like, who the fuck does that, bro? And you know what I mean?
I mean,
like,
they heard he had a choice to take the verse off the song if he wanted to.
Yeah, no, what Big Sean had the choice to do is like, stop, like, look, you didn't care about old rappers, and then you went and abided by old rapper rules. Or like you didn't abide by them because you're cooler than them, but you end up looking, you know what I mean? Like, they didn't want to do the LL Cool J, rewrite your verse after you hear Cannabis ask for the mic on your arm. But it's like, no, why not? You should have. You absolutely should have. That's what you should have done, Big Sean. And actually, you should have given Jay Electronica the option to do the same. You should have given Jay, like, it should have been an all-out, like, oh, we all just dissing each other on this song. Fuck it. If they pick up the news, it's got to be about all of us dissing all of us. You know?
Or like, on the album, have the next song be called Out of Control and just go at Kendrick on the next song. Like, you know, that would have been, anyway, whatever. Big Sean.
Missed opportunities left and right.
You know, that song is kind of catchy. I wish I remembered how the chorus went, but it's pew pew something. He's like, I'm something pew pew. Damn, yo.
I couldn't help it. I already pulled up the lyrics.
The lyric it's going to be pew
my
pew.
Shot like pew pew A.
Right. You got to listen to the song.
Hit the red dot like pew pew A. Finger on the trigger.
Pew 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 A.
A.
Lindell in the comments said he can't say for sure, but we may be getting ready for a Lil Wayne and Ludacris battle. I don't know, Lindell. I didn't hear nothing about that.
Them niggas is relaxing.
Preach said it's so all that DJs only play Kendrick's verse since it's 3 minutes long. Kendrick didn't diss anyone on Control. Jake got his feelings and that's it. That's like not true estimation of what happened, sir.
No.
That's a falsity. You know what I mean?
And rapper,
he didn't diss anyone, but in rap terms, as soon as you say, yo, X, Y, and Z, names, I'll take any one of your heads off. It's like, oh, say no more, fam. That's like coming into a room. That's like you coming into a room of grown men and being like,
same.
I was gonna make the same. I'll be like, oh, say word, motherfucker. Beat my ass.
I was gonna make the same
right now.
I was gonna make the same analogy.
Like, you can't talk crazy around grown ass men and be like, oh no, I didn't play innocent.
Right, I didn't say you. I didn't say you.
Didn't Kendrick also say I'm the king in New York, and you're watching the New Yorkers have a very visceral reaction, whereas the rest of us didn't feel the same visceral reaction to Kendrick saying I'm the king in New York.
Right. Nobody, listen, if you're not from New York, you're not going to give a fuck. If fucking Kendrick would have been like, I'm the king of fucking Montreal, you'd have been like, excuse me, sir? But nobody gives a fuck about Montreal enough for them to say I'm the king of Montreal.
But also, like, why would this is a New York moment again. This is another thing. Yo, people care so much about New York. They care about how we react to other people talking about New York. Like, you know what I'm saying? No, it's like, fam.
I'm not gonna lie. I just said
of course we're offended.
Used to being on this podcast with y'all, and I just see this shit. I'm translating to the world. I don't know if people care like me.
They do. No, but they do. People care. That's the thing. Like, New York is like, yo, do you see how butthurt New York gets about whatever? And it's like, why do you care that we care?
You care, right?
Yo,
Why are you
because
even
on
paying
the other
attention
side
to
of
us?
it,
Why are
we'll
we?
be
Why
sitting
are
there
we the
minding
only?
our own business, having a conversation about something, and a New Yorker will turn it into a New York history lesson out of nowhere.
Yo, I
Facts.
tell you this much. I tell you this much. You know what it is? You know what it really breaks down to is the fact that New York influenced internet culture more than any
See?
city in the real
Literally.
world. You know what I mean? Like literally.
Literally.
That's why think about this. You got
Bacon, egg, and
London,
cheese.
you got Tokyo, you got all these major cities all across the world. They don't influence the internet and the way that the internet acts. Look, I was just talking on today. I was just I was watching. I play a mobile app for my phone called Marvel Contest of Champions. I've played this goddamn game for like almost 10 years now, okay? And so it's to the point where I watch YouTube content from these guys. And this one guy said he was in there. It's a fighting game, kind of like a Street Fighter type of game.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, this YouTuber doing content for this shit, he was like, "Oh, as they say in the MCOC community, the community of the game, let him cook." And I was like, "Are y'all trying to pretend y'all like?" I was like, "Yo, FYI, that came from battle rap like that." I left a comment, and then like other people are jumping in. One white, had to be a white boy, was like, "Oh, really? I thought that it came from Breaking Bad." I'm like, it has nothing to do with cooking meth. Why would you think that? Let him
Right.
cook is literally like, yo, he's on, like say, you're on fire. It
He's
has
on
nothing to do-
fire.
Like nobody ever said that by cooking meth or crack, you're on fire. Like you're not fucking on fire, killing the game. Like
Yo,
nobody like,
you can't
you
see
know?
how white people would get to that conclusion, bro. It makes mad sense.
No,
to
we
me.
can see.
You
We
hear
can
the
see
Benny the
why.
Butcher song and that shit.
I could
You
see,
go
I
on
could
Rap
see why, but
Genius.
it
Some other
also,
guy
it
annotated
also
it.
shows it also shows like the disconnection. You know what I mean? But the point that I'm trying to make to get to is like this dude is like trying to fucking claim shit that's like, yo, it came, and I was like, and then some other guy came into the comments was like, yo, he was just saying X, Y, and Z, chill. I'm like, bro, I'm chilling. Fuck, like, why are you offended because I'm just educating the man? Like, it's okay to be educated. Like, you don't have to like be upset with someone. It's like if somebody tells you, "Hey, did you know that the origin of what's a saying that people say all the time? All of them come from something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The more you eye for an eye, all these things come from a place.
Okay,
You know
yo,
what I
a
mean?
pot to piss in,
So,
bro,
a
and that
pot
shit
to
comes
piss in,
from.
all these things
Anyway,
come from
I got the
things.
story
It
on that
comes from
shit.
something. Exactly.
Where does it
It
come from?
matters to you. It matters to you. You know why it matters
Because
to you?
back in the
'Cause-
day, you could use piss to cure leather. So if you had a pot to piss in, you could actually sell that pot of piss to a leathersmith. And we're talking in the Great Depression. So if you were
gotcha.
so poor that you didn't have a pot to piss in, you like didn't even have a way to make that easy bread that you could otherwise make.
Check it out.
Talking
Metaphor
history, bro.
time. Metaphor time.
I'm gonna
And
tell you-
that's why New York wants its appreciation, because we've given the world a pot to piss in.
But wait, hold
So
on.
like, understand that us telling you let us cook and us giving you all these things that the world, right? Like hip hop culture is like ingrained
That's our-
in internet slang.
That's our piss
People,
that we give the
like,
world.
all that shit is piss that we've given to the world. Fucking appreciate the goddamn.
This
piss.
is
Now-
why
now-
everyone
So
cares when
so
New York
Now the
gets
rest of the world could
butthurt
cure
about
their
it.
leather
Because
with
New
the
York,
They
piss
when
of
you
New
talk
their
to
York.
New
leather
Yorkers,
and fucking
New
be
Yorkers are the center
entrepreneurs.
of the universe. So when the center of the universe gets mad, it's the news.
When people come to New York and they say that it smells like piss, it's because we're the melting pot to piss.
Anyway, it's
Yo,
definitely.
but wait!
There's
I can't
You
let
got
that.
one more. You got one more.
No,
You
I
got
just
one
got.
more.
Yo, B. Let's say I'm a leathersmith in the Great Depression, right? And somebody comes in my shop and they're like, "Yo, I'm trying to sell you this pot full of piss." And then I'm like, "Thank you, kind sir, because where would I ever get
Never
piss
get
from?
the piss.
No, but you
Oh
don't
my
have piss
God.
in the
I ever come
volume, bro.
across piss?
Like I'm saying, you need
Listen.
like
Piss in the
a,
volume. Piss in the volume. But
I
you
know,
know
I'm
what you're not thinking. You know what you're not thinking about.
What?
You're not thinking about how
you get like a
fucking
couple pennies for
thirsty
that
that
shit, bro.
motherfucker was back then. He didn't
Also-
have, if he was drinking the way I drink on this podcast, water, right? It'd be like, oh, that like it makes sense
Oh,
for
but
him
like,
to be able to
deadass, like-
manufacture his own piss for the pot to piss
Wait.
for all his leather.
Wait,
Good.
I got
But
this. Business
Go
thought.
solo in an era where there's not a lot of water. You know
Wait. I got so much to think about this. Because another thing is, then who keeps the pot, right? You go to the the leathersmith with a pot full of urine and you dump it into a bigger pot. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like a
And
vat to cure the
if
leather.
that's the case,
because they
hold
dump the
on.
shit in.
If that's the case, keep the fucking pot. Just come over here and piss into the thing. Why do you need the pot in the first place?
Because
And then wait,
bro.
I'm taking it further. Wait,
The
and if
pot
that's the
dealer.
case, if I'm a leathersmith, I'm gonna just build a bathroom on the other end of my fucking thing where the urinals go straight into the vat, and I gotta pay nobody for shit.
You know
Anyway,
what though,
I'm
bro?
done.
I guarantee you that somebody
didn't have
tried
that
shit,
technology
right?
back then,
So you gotta
Max.
think about this.
And
now.
all you need is a
Now,
hole in
You're
the
gonna tell me that
ground.
nobody's taking dookies in the middle of this? Like, if we really want to run it from like a customer service perspective,
Yo,
you have to anticipate
urinals.
the
You have
problems
the
that are gonna
toilets
pop
over
up.
there, and the
Yeah,
urinals
but you're
go
talking
to
about
the fucking thing.
1920s motherfuckers selling you piss. We're not exactly in the era of life where it's the highest dignity in this job. You're talking about a man who's going to get paid to piss. So there is a chance
we're
that this
talking
man
about,
may
like,
take
what are
a
we-
fucking shit
what are we
in the
talking
middle
about?
of
We're
this.
talking about,
Now
like,
you're
the
dealing with
800s?
like in-person
The 20s.
1920s and shit
20s.
and
No,
earlier.
1920.
Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we fucking up. They were.
You,
All
you
right,
know what it
Holden,
was?
You gotta let this go.
This is
Holden,
this
you
is
gotta
key.
let
This
this
is
go.
this
That's
is
a
top
fact,
tier
though. I just
prohibition.
said
So
I'm really
motherfuckers
into
aren't
etymology
drinking.
here and
You know what I'm
there.
saying?
What
Yo,
I'm
that's
saying,
another
though,
thing.
is-
If I'm a leathersmith, I'm gonna have a speakeasy, and if they drinking, they pissing.
You know that back in those days, motherfuckers used to hunt boar out in the middle of Manhattan if they was poor and just like eat wild boar and shit, and then they put houses everywhere and there's no more boars.
Yeah.
Some fun New York facts.
It's crazy because all this talk about pissing is making me want to take a piss super badly.
No. All right.
ahead.
What are we
Go
doing
ahead.
next?
I mean, do you want to squeeze in some Sukihana releases? I mean,
Yeah,
let's
let's
just
do
talk
it.
real quick, right?
'Cause
Like,
it's on there in the
I didn't
title.
listen to the song. Like, Sukihana released this song, the JT of the City Girls. Apparently, it's a scathing diss.
It's pretty scathing.
They're definitely
So
they're definitely angry at each other.
Appreciate you, Nudie.
And then also Kimora Lee speaks on daughter Aiko's relationship. Says she was embarrassed after the reporter asked her. Like the reporter or the TMZ paparazzi was like, "Were you embarrassed?" And she was like, "Yeah, I guess I was a little embarrassed. I was also like, you know, myself, like, own it, girl, unbothered." And I'm just like,
Yo, B, can we live in a world where if somebody asks you about your kids, you just look them in the face and say none of your goddamn business?
business.
That's
Word.
sure.
Like you
Hey, are
made
you
it worse by answering it. You should have been like, "Yo, what?"
Like, I'm
Who are you?
embarrassed. Is your mother embarrassed by you for being a fucking gossipy little
Paparazzi?
bitch?
Right.
You're probably real proud, actually.
You interviewing me about my life, motherfucker. Stay in your place.
You proud? You proud of that? Is this what your fucking media degree got you?
Yeah, you went to college to ask me questions about my daughter. You didn't have to you didn't have to pay $20,000 a semester for that. You could have just asked me.
Way to affect change.
Nah, I'm fucking around. Her daughter,
It's like
Kimora Lee Simmons' daughter,
paid a lot more for that though than a lot of the other people.
Kimora Lee Simmons' daughter is dating a very, very old guy. Is that what she's supposed to be embarrassed by? Because you know, Kimora Lee Simmons dated a older gentleman as well. She was like 16, 17 when she
Simmons when she was 17.
Right.
Yeah.
So you know, it is.
But that's legal in certain countries.
I mean, the age of consent in my country.
It's legal
16.
in America. Yo, you know, I always come across this conversation, like this thought in it, like that people forget. Like, yo, first off, all cultures are wildly pedo-ish with their behavior. Like, I'm talking about Europeans are like that, Africans are like that, Asians are like that, Latin people are like that, Middle Eastern people are like that, and guess what? Here, right here in the United States of America, we are also like that. There are literally states where like you get married legally at like 15. We've stood by while wild stars throughout the years have like been with like people underage.
Like if people
it's
want
a
to apply
ridiculous
like
amount.
their equal opportunity, like R. Kelly kind of attitude, then nobody should be bumping Led Zeppelin. To be honest with y'all,
Yeah,
Led Zeppelin, Aerosmith,
a lot of these guys,
fucking
like
Elvis,
back in the '60s.
Prince.
Like just to like add to what Flacco was saying, like this shit was so systemic that back in the '60s, there were magazines for groupies that were like kind of like 17 or whatever, that were designed to teach teenagers how to fuck rock stars, and that was just part of the culture that was wildly accepted.
Crazy.
They had a name for them too. The rock stars had a name for like the underage groupies. It was like I forgot what it's called.
It was
but listen, we're done. We're done talking about Drake. Let's move on to something else.
God damn. All right, man. Let's get to the trailers of the week. This week we got 5 fucking trailers because I'm not gonna lie, I did the 4 trailers and then I realized that you know what I left off? Back to Black, the Amy Winehouse movie.
Oh,
I want us to watch that trailer, and I want us to talk about that fucking.
All right.
I want us to talk about that trailer.
Understood.
But first
now.
First up, are you holding? Because I see you highlighting all the fucking trailers. You know, like what are you doing? Get it together. One
pasting.
trailer at a time.
Sometimes you delete the note file after before I copy and paste it, so I move it over to my other file. I digress.
Are you sharing with us? Because we're not sharing.
Yes, I'm
here.
working on it.
All right, Holden, get it together.
Welcome to Cinematic Perspectives, everyone. Here's trailer number 1.
What if
Cinematic Perspectives?
Imaginary friends are real. And when their kids grow up, they're forgotten.
Are any of them scary?
Worse. Desperate.
Question: why did these kids forget about us in the first place?
Last week, I just started falling apart.
You're sucking the oxygen out of the room.
Honestly, Doc, if this is how it's going to be, I'm just going to wheel myself back and plug in.
We've started the matchmaking agency to help IFs find new kids.
Or we just disappear.
Blue. Happy place, happy place.
Coffee and croissants. Coffee and croissants.
I can help you.
How?
I'm a kid.
You are the chosen one. No. Let's not give her a complex.
Good luck, short stack. It's all up to you.
No pressure.
Cock and dagger!
Hope this works. All right, let's find these ifs some kids.
Chief!
What kind of a kid creates an invisible if?
I can find anyone. Anywhere.
You got him enough.
Thanks for doing this.
Don't look him in the eye.
Which one?
Yeah, that's gonna grow right back.
Am I disappearing? Oh, all right, I'm not ready for this. I need to throw up, or I need a snack. It's one of the two.
Gross.
You have to help them.
Yes, we do. I'm not gonna ask you again. Put some pants on. You're freaking everyone out. How'd it go? Oh my God.
So does this make us partners?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, shall we? Keith!
And Mom said too much candy isn't good for your tummy, but I said, oh my God.
Wow, my eyes can taste it.
I'm so sorry.
You don't taste that in your eyeballs?
So Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but a movie version.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. What did you think, Bax?
I mean, it looks cute. I think it's another one of those cases where like the recipe is probably solid, but I don't really fuck with the ingredients. Like the look of the Friends is all too. So if you watch, so let me bust down some cartoon logic. There's a cartoon called the Gumball. I forget. It's like the Misadventures of Gumball, the World of Gumball, right? And in this cartoon, they mix different animation styles throughout the cartoon, and it's very super dope. That technique was supposed
DC is in the comments, and he said, "Wild show."
That technique was supposed to be used for Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Like each imaginary friend was supposed to have a different like animation technique, and it would be like crazy, but it would be also indicative of how different each imaginary friend was. You know what I'm saying?
Kind of like the way that they did with Spider-Man and the Across the Universe.
Yeah. So
they showed
sort
a
of
different type of animation for different guys.
Right, and like Spider-Punk is like animated on different frames to show how like out of
like comic book.
Right. So in this movie, I feel like all of the ifs or the imaginary friends look too similar and the same sort of cartoony, but not in a way that like blends in with the world that they're in. Also, Ryan Reynolds is the main character and the girl as the main character seem nice enough, but I don't feel the magic. I'm not watching this like, ooh, this is. You know, but so it's probably like going to be a very good movie, but not a great movie.
Reminds me of seeing the trailer for, what was that movie that he did? What
Detective
my guy?
Pikachu.
The guy one. Where free guy. And I forgot there's another one that he did. That I'm just like, I don't know.
Where he meets his younger self.
Yeah. Adam Project or some shit.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is kind of like, I started thinking about this because we do this show together and I've gotten to know your taste, right? So I have traded like the same way that I know that you're looking forward to the Badlands movie.
Borderlands.
I know Borderlands movie. I know that week there's another movie that comes out. I also know that like around the same time, there's a show coming from the guy that was just in Roadhouse, who you also don't, Jake Gyllenhaal, who you don't really like, right? And I was thinking to myself how like, Jake Gyllenhaal, what's the other guy you don't like from the Barbie movie? Ryan Gosling.
They're not the same guy?
They're not the same guy. Ryan Reynolds and The Rock are all kind of like in this whole ecosphere of like, the star guys.
Right.
And like they get wild. Like Ryan Reynolds, like think about it. He's got Deadpool and Wolverine coming out this year. You know what I mean? I would think I would be chill with just that. You know what I mean? But he's just like,
he was just in Montreal filming a movie, being harassed by Montreal people because they were fucking weirdos, but they imported palm trees and shit. It was a big to do, but Ryan Reynolds was here filming a movie, so he's already on to the next project.
And no, he seems very like hardest working man, but like kind of like The Rock. The Rock is always doing that. So is Kevin Hart. People say the same. That's why Kevin Hart and The Rock do so many movies together, right? It's just these cast of actors. This list of actors that are kind of like usually working the most guys. You know what I mean? Like most actors used to just be like one role every couple of years and like stick with that. Like that's good. These guys are like, nah, I want multiple movies and
always starring roles.
Starring
the
roles.
Vehicle is like around them because you also have people like Christopher Walken who's always working, but Christopher Walken ain't the main guy.
Starring, never. He's the supporting cast.
Not Christopher Walken.
Ryan will do some stuff.
Yeah, Christopher Walken too.
But I was in my mind. I was thinking of Willem Dafoe, but both of them.
Willem Dafoe as well. That's kind of like Steve Buscemi. Steve Buscemi's ugly ass that just got punched in the face. You know what I mean? Like it's just Yeah, he got punched in the face. It's so funny. My wife had the same reaction. She was like, "Oh, Buscemi, I love Buscemi." I was like, "I don't give a fuck. If Rick Moranis can get punched in his fucking face, anybody can get punched in their fucking face." Okay, like that's it. True. We don't have no mercy out this bitch no more. Rick Moranis getting punched in his face, everybody gets punched in their face.
That is facts.
That dude is like the nicest guy. He's like Canadian nice all the way.
Yeah.
Like he retired from the business to raise his kids and be a good man. You know what I mean? Like, which I'm like, yo, love him. Great guy. Gave me great, one of the greatest memories of my life, which is fucking little shop. I'd stay with the feed me, Seymour.
Don't forget about Little Giants.
Feed me, babe. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Rick Moranis gave us a bunch of gems. I love Rick Moranis. But I mean, he
Ghostbusters.
He was just the lead in a lot of stuff. But the point being, back to leads, you know, is that like these guys are all leading leads. I don't think that this movie's really gonna hit like that. But you know, it also does look like the movie that might take off on some like kids love it. You know, like
I doubt
kids
it.
are.
Nah,
You know?
I think that like, cause like, my first thought was a lot of those designs of the ifs look like Monsters Inc. to me, so it already kind of feels derivative, and unless they can really attach a super clever marketing campaign to it, which really engages people, like some Pokemon collect them all kind of toy campaign might work. But if anything, that's what this feels like. Like I can smell the toys in this movie, because all of them is a toy. And if that,
We'll see.
But like, it also looks like a solid 6-7 kids movie, fun adventure where like
like
hit,
like it's not gonna be
the
bad.
audience it's designed for, but it isn't gonna hit everyone.
Right. A solid mid, which is kind of like where Ryan Reynolds lives.
Yeah, he's cool with it.
Shut up,
He's like,
Canadian
yo,
treasure.
as I got a
Ryan Reynolds.
275 batting average, I'm good.
Right. Yo,
Like,
did you
that's
like
enough
the
to keep me in
Free
professional
Guy?
baseball.
Did you like the Free Guy movie?
Free Guy was okay in the sense of like, oh, this is a cool idea. You know what I mean? But like, definitely was poorly written.
And not a movie that you would go back to watch. You know, it's not. Nobody's gonna be
Nah,
like,
definitely wasn't. Definitely, if anything, I'll probably watch that Adam Project again before I watch that one.
Yeah, I didn't see that one yet.
You know what Free Guy felt like to me? It felt like bootleg Ready Player One, or Too Funny Ready Player One.
Or Ready
it was
Player
like,
One
I already got Ready Player One. What the fuck do I need Free Guy for? You know?
Right.
And you know what's crazy is like I feel like like it's too focused around Ryan Reynolds, that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
See, I'm talking about Free Guy, a different movie. It's not Fall Guy. Fall Guy is the movie with Ryan Gosling that just came out last weekend or the weekend before that. Free Guy is an old movie with Ryan Reynolds that's on Netflix, I believe.
Yeah, it's like he's an NPC
he's an NPC. Yeah,
who becomes like the main character in a video game or some shit like that.
No worries, buddy. You gotta apologize.
All right, let's get on to the next trailer.
Let's get on to the next trailer.
I will never ever for the rest of my life, before we go on, I will be like in the future and Rapid Trailer Stinger is going to play in my head out of nowhere for the rest of my life. For the amount of times I heard that back to back, that do like sound that at the beginning. It's ingrained in me.
It's so funny because I don't even notice that shit. I could give like 2 fucks.
Survival. Continuing longer than another person or thing. You gotta take risks. The key is to stay in the game. Survival of the fittest. You're either predator or you're prey. My wife.
Where is she now?
Where I left her.
Miranda? She's been through so much. Talk to her.
I know things haven't been easy. We all just want you to be happy. I don't know. It's just... What do you want?
Eddie! Why is he following me?
Listen to me.
Run!
What's wrong with you?
911.
My name is Miranda Cooper. I'm lost in the middle of the woods. I need help. Hello?
Miranda.
Oh my God, he knows
Come
my
on.
name. He's coming.
I'll be your new daddy.
There's a crazy man. We have to run. Let's go.
Does this man look familiar to you?
Still no word on Miranda?
It's not safe to go into the woods.
He's armed and dangerous.
We're organizing their search party.
Where is she?
Calm down, Danny. She's not alone.
She's just a little girl.
Well, she's about to be a dead little girl. I don't have to run faster than the man-eating tiger. I just have to run faster than you. Keep moving before anybody can figure out what you're doing. need help? Thank you for the thrill of the chase and for the glorious day ahead.
He's right behind me!
Why are you doing this?
Does it matter?
You're lucky I didn't shoot you.
Like this?
Yo, let me take it away first. Yo, old white actors in Hollywood love to do the tough guy, shoot them up when they get older. The older they get, the more they want to be like, I want to kill everybody. This goes back to like fucking, I don't know, 70s Hollywood, 60s Hollywood. I don't know when it started.
That's too funny.
Probably started with Westerns. Westerns is probably the same thing, right? Like, I don't even know, man. White men love to get on camera and be a tough guy.
Hey, what's up, Josh? We see you in the Facebook Live comments.
Gentlemen,
a lot of mucho.
Give me two minutes. I gotta see about something. Be right back.
Right. Holden, what'd you think about it?
I feel like there's gonna be zero in this movie that the trailer didn't show me that like is worth delving into. The way Baxter will point out how trailers might tell you the whole plot, I don't see what else is in this movie. Even down to the part where he's gonna be intertwined with the family, and that like there's clearly some relation. There's gonna be some backstory exposition dump between him and that pregnant lady, and there's gonna be some reason, but also it doesn't matter because you're gonna kill everyone in some aloof fucking way. And if you really want to watch an old white guy down a shoot him, run around, do his thing, it's probably a real romp for you. But I also feel like I've seen that shit before. Like, I already like feel like I've watched this. Like, it's like some 80s movie, but with better graphics.
Yeah. But I also do think J.K. Simmons is a really good actor. I'll give him that.
Nice.
Like, when he's in his pocket, he's on fire. So I will check this out when it comes to like streaming.
He does look like he's acting well in this. That's not really it, but like plot wise, like
yeah. But the plot, it's only so much acting can save bad plot or bad writing. You know what I mean? So, right, man.
Yeah. Fair. I'm not sure where Baxter is, so I mean, we might have to move on from this one without Baxter.
Let's go to the next trailer. Unfortunate, he will miss this one.
You probably would have agreed.
Police power is immediate power. Is right now. Do what I told you to do right now, or else. I decide what happens next.
Policing is inextricably linked to the racial history of this country.
Police associated with colonizers, wealth, and whiteness.
So police targeted people marked as non-white.
Slaves. Indigenous and working class people.
Police have been able to double down on their power time and time again.
There are a lot of people that feel that policing is out of control. But it's also the case that there's horrific crime, and it also is out of control.
Policing is hard now. It's real hard. We deal with a lot of murders.
In the United States, police power is essentially unregulated.
Anybody who moves to hold police accountable faces a challenge.
The biggest problem with policing today is that most of the harm that policing causes is perfectly legal.
Up, hon. Get up.
How did we get here? The question breaks down as soon as you ask it. We may share this country, but is your America and my America the same place? Has it ever been?
Frederick Douglass said, power concedes nothing without a demand. And the power that is American policing, hasn't conceded anything.
In this kind of democracy, who is more powerful? The people or the police?
Hi, No Mercy.
Yo, what's going on? You hear me?
Mercy. What the fuck? You jumped on right at the third trailer.
Flacko, what up? My bad, man.
Did you see? Nah, don't stress it, Brody. I already told you. And I fucked up with today's invite. Like, I was so caught up with work the entire day from like the morning, literally.
Right.
That like I just forgot, and I sent the link when you know what I mean? Was about to go live. It's crazy that you came on now, though, when we're literally doing trailers and shit.
Yeah, I'm here. I remember you hit me. You said you wanted, and I was just actually talking to my wife about what we was talking about possibly doing a double date thing. You feel what I'm saying?
Word. Fact.
You know what I mean? I'm all the way with that. She just took my son and getting him ready for bed and shit like that.
Word.
So,
No, definitely bedtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you on the show. Welcome. So
likewise. Listen, I like coming on platforms with people who I can actually have like logical discussions with. You feel me? But also people who I know are they don't bite their tongue when it comes to certain things. And Flacko been going crazy like with the whole Kendrick and Drake shit. So, I enjoy just seeing somebody like that who, even if we don't agree on the same points, you still
respect
you can have
the different the difference of opinion and the fact that a person is standing on what they believe in. Yeah, nah, you and XL have done a great job of like being on Kendrick's side while making different points than the majority of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like not the same point, and also both attacking from different angles. Like you're attacking it definitely from like I'm a Kendrick fan, fuck Drake, and Excel keeps on trying to approach it from like no, I'm fair, and it's like, bitch, you ain't fair, motherfucker.
Yo, this is the thing.
But both, and even in that, right? Like both coming with like fucking, like I said, points that like not everybody's bringing up, and funny shit too, saying hilarious shit. That
the problem is, I feel like so many people have this like I was talking to one of my coworkers today about this whole celebrity worship that people have, where it's just like, dog, you can rock with one dude and still be fair with the other guy. You feel what I'm saying? Like for me personally, in this era, I feel like Euphoria and Family Matters, two of the best diss records I've heard.
Two of the best diss records ever, bro. Yeah. Amazing diss records. Amazing.
Yeah. And
I don't who I don't like right now, more than somebody who disagrees with me. I don't like the disimpassioned crowd with this. Like the people who are trying to act like this is not a big deal, this is not a legitimate beef, this was not a legitimate battle. I'm like, you're bugging, and something there be like videos that you see online, and then people are like, who hurt you? It's like, who hurt you to those people? You know what I mean? That somebody took all the fun out of hip hop for you to the point where even at the most exciting moment, you can't just enjoy what's clearly a historical moment in the culture. You know what I mean? Like,
listen, a lot of us, I feel like a lot of us were living in the moment of like, oh, all right, this person dropped. What's the other dude about to do? Then that same person dropped again. I like, and it's a whole lot of hot takes. We are this is what goes on in the barbershop every day when we growing up. You understand? These are the same type of discussions, but you have to also look at it from a realistic standpoint. Like, okay, I get back in the day, it was Hov and Nas, Jadakiss and Benny Siegel, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of the platform that both of them have and how high they are in their careers, I want to say this is the biggest rap beef we've ever had. unless you want to put like a Tupac and Biggie, that might be.
I mean,
bigger
I had talked about this, and I had said that it's one of those things where, like, it's weird because Tupac and Biggie, there's not a lot of records behind it. You know what I mean? There's just hit 'em up.
That's true.
There's not a lot of records. Like, people want to make Who Shot You into part of the beef, and when you look at it in retrospect, yeah, Biggie dropped a whole bunch of sneak diss or subliminals on Life After Death, but like, it's not the same thing. You know what I mean? It's not this level, you know? And I don't think that we've seen anything like, and they put in a high effort. And what they really did was, early in the show, we were talking about Holden or Bax were mentioning about how like Meek Mill, Holden was mentioning it, how like Meek Mill, during the Meek Mill beef, like that's how Drake won was with the Overkill. You know what I mean?
Right.
Of like of content and like being on SNL with Back to Back. Well, this time Drake met his commercial match, bitch.
Right.
Drake is like, I'll out famous you to death. And Kendrick was like, you can't do that to me.
Yeah, listen, that's what it was. And then you also got to understand the mystique that comes with Kendrick, because he's not a person, he's not on Instagram, he's not on social media. You don't really even get a peek into his life. So this is even why some people were questioning when Drake brought up the DV thing, because you can't pull up something on the internet that can say, yo, this is true. Like when we look at Drake, right? If you want to look at the optics of like, you know, him dealing with the young girls, blah, 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 you have evidence of this. You understand? But when Kendrick's situation, you don't have a lot of evidence because of that mystique that he has.
I mean,
so
even just to add to the evidence thing, Kendrick kind of just admitted it on his last album. Like it isn't even like it,
that's
like
true.
He leaked it himself. It wasn't like you had to dig for it.
Right. No, but also like Flacco, the point, like Drake did out famous Kendrick, and like that's what I'm saying is like, because he's so everywhere all the time, that when he loses, him losing is everywhere all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And to the whole point about It's a whole point about Kendrick's mystique is like, okay, so Kendrick might beat his wife, and his wife's name is Whitney, and we've just met her. Like nobody knew his wife's name was Whitney. Nobody. But like when you talk about Drake, you're talking about famous people and other famous people. So it's like when we talk about Drake being a pedophile, it's like Drake and Millie Bobby Brown. Like, you know what I'm saying? Drake and Rihanna. Drake. So it's like people are so much more invested.
Who turned 18 and they dated, and he'd known her since she was 16.
People are so much more invested in all of these other aspects of Drake's life because he's given them to us his entire career. He uses them to be Drake. Like, you know, so it's like when he loses, like if he would have won, he would have won on SNL. He would have won in an Oscar Mayer commercial. He would have won here. He would have won there. But now you're losing to the same degree that you would have won with.
Right.
And now Oscar Mayer is putting out BBL Glizzy.
BBL Glizzy,
and it's just like, damn.
I said that. You just gotta eat that. Pause
on this show where I was like, when we were talking about the J. Cole thing, I was like, J. Cole is actually lucky the beef kicked up because that apology, he was teetering on the edge of like, and I said that I was like, yo, I was like, Cole is on an edge. I was like, all he needs is for some company out there to use the right opportunity in social media to be like, but we're not apologizing like J. Cole did, for him to be completely made fun of and laughed at by the entire culture. Like he was that close. You know the moment came that close, and he still got referenced throughout the whole beef.
I think the moment
poked that and proud of that.
The moment came. People were making those jokes. The only thing that saved him is the fact that, to your point, the beef ramped up, and then he no longer was the focus anymore. And now in retrospect,
kind of like Diddy.
But it's also
like Diddy. And why did his son speak up? We didn't even speak about that. But why did his son
diss
50? It's like, yo, bro, shut up.
And out of all the people that you want to diss, yo,
make a diss track against 50. That's what happened.
Down, son. And I'm a avid Diddy fan. Like y'all don't
defending
understand.
The pops, I guess.
I'm from the school
his pops
of
should have told him like, nah.
Like fucking.
But don't say that. Don't say,
Let me
hey,
tell you
feds,
something.
y'all searched the wrong house.
Yeah.
Don't
Yo,
do that.
my God.
Don't say none
My
of that.
God.
Like, yo, like you like, you know, when people say the block is hot, like the block is hot. Don't make no moves. Don't draw no attention. Like literally, 50. If you go
Saying the
down,
block is hot is like making the block hot.
if you
Like,
go down 50's feed, he hadn't mentioned Diddy in how long, right? Now the last 10 posts is all like he was waiting for somebody to say something. This is the best. Like that. Fucking. What is the nigga? What is his son's name? Royal or King Combs.
King
He gave
Combs.
50. He gave 50 Cent a gift, a present. He was like, "Yo,
Yeah.
here, make content about me and my family for another month." You know what I'm saying?
And look, all 50 do in the midst of when he's going back and forth with somebody, he ends up posting the other brands he's promoting. He posts his shows.
Yeah, he's
uses,
promoting himself. He
uses the bullshit to promote himself in the midst of it. And now you're not just giving him content, you're helping him promote his brands through that.
Yep.
Nah, absolute fact.
Stupid.
Absolute fact. Now, 50 is definitely the king of one of the OGs, old heads, adapting to this modern internet and being a super troll. Like, he in real life troll. Like, but it's also like,
you say, like, when you say adapting, let's just be clear. 50 just been doing this since there was internet. Like, he's the guy everyone's copying.
Since
Like,
before there was internet too.
If you really
he was
run it
doing
back
it
to
on the
the
mixtape.
blog
well, not
days,
before there was
with the
internet.
Ja
Internet
Rule,
was like the
skits
80s.
and
no,
all
but like,
Yes.
but with the
Before
internet, like
AOL dial-up,
like he ran a successful
MySpace.
forum that he curated before social media took up. Like, he's one of the pioneer websites. I don't remember the domain, but like he was
this
an
is
internet. So like he's an internet pioneer for all things related to beef, trolling, and drama. So like you're all playing in his forum when you play this game. Like, you wouldn't even have the forum without him. Like, I'm not gonna say it's not like meant to be a stretch, but like he contributed to the culture that was Twitter before Twitter was a thing, and like they saw what he was doing and recognized the money potential and made these investments because guys like 50 proved it could be done with no budget.
Also,
That's
he's like
actually like real shit if you Google it.
He's the epitome. Like when earlier in the show when I was talking about like, yo, there's reacting, and then there's like there's like seeing the logic above the reaction. And like 50, I feel like 90% of the time is always operating in like the logic above the reaction. So like, you know, King Combs releases a diss song about you. Your initial feeling might be like, who the fuck is this kid? And like, yo, he can't, and also he's not a good rapper. Like 50 might not be the best rapper in the world, but who do you think you are to go against 50?
Even his dad, right? He was a good rapper. He just wasn't a good rapper.
Writer,
he didn't write those rhymes, but he sounded good as fuck spitting that shit.
Right.
He sounded like believable spitting them rhymes Jada wrote for himself and begrudgingly would have give up and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like Jada, like he begrudgingly, well known and documented that Jada Kiss was giving those up begrudgingly, right? But like, but Diddy made him sound good.
Right.
King Combs does not have that.
I was seeing, I want to say over the past couple of weeks, I started seeing clips of King Combs' music popping up, and I was like, he's not good at all. But all right, respect you doing your music thing. We all know your father's making it
like,
easy for you to even
flow
do
was
this.
like a little off, right? Like, because I heard a little snippet, and I was like, I just expected a little more from a guy
way off of Harlem, nigga. Tell you them.
I mean, but was
he from gentrified Harlem? He's not from real Harlem.
Is he raised in Harlem? Was he even raised in Harlem? That's not where his house is.
He's raised in Cali. Like,
right.
Yeah.
His dad was raised in Harlem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh my, he's trash. He's trash. Like, and the problem with the diss record is like, okay, for me, from my optics, right? It's like, okay, you have these long stretch of snippets you've been putting out that I'm like, yo, these songs is already trash. So I already look at you as a trash rapper. But then for you to go up against the person who's been bombing on your father on the internet, I know you're not going to have none for him. So this is just like you just handing them the corpse, like for no reason.
Right. And also, what do you win by doing this, right? Like that's what the logic above the reaction is. So it's like this man is like shitting on your father all day,
talking about him otherwise.
But he like he would have got a reaction if he responded to 50 in any medium. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, the thing is, he wants to be a rapper, so he does a diss song. But like, the diss song isn't the most advantageous thing for you to do. You know, he might have been even better going on a Vlad TV interview and like making himself a character.
Yo,
you know?
he might have been better off with that. I'll tell you this, it definitely feels like like back in the day UFC shit with like some super skinny guy up against Butterbean. You know what I mean? Like what are we doing? Like what like we put in a 600-pound man against a 120-pound man? Like,
but
this can't even end well if it.
But it's
ends
even
well,
worse than that.
You know?
It's even worse than that. It's like a motherfucker thinking that he's having a boxing match against somebody who's like with a sword and a like you know, like the games the games that 50's,
totally different games.
Right, the games that 50's playing are games that are like backed by millions of dollars, that are like part of internet campaigns, that are like part of like marketing things. Like, he's not just making raps because he's angry at somebody. And this has been,
he's not making raps at all.
But what I'm saying is, like, so even something happened with Oprah.
Oprah the theme signed to a TV show.
Oprah was talking shit about hip hop. So then 50 got on the internet and said some derogatory thing about Oprah. And he said Gayle
Played
King
it on the radio. I remember that song.
So Gayle King confronted him someplace. And she was like, "Yo, you talking about my girl like we like blah yada yada yada." And 50 was like, "Yo, I like nothing I say is sincere. Is, you know, I felt that like, if we can't be friends, at least we could be enemies. Like, you know what I'm saying? The saying that's like let's get money together, and if we can't get money together standing next to each other, let's get money together across from each other. You know what I'm saying? So everything 50 does is
50 is calculated, yeah.
Right. He even what's his face? Riding Dirty, Chameleonaire. Same thing. He said he thought he had beef with 50, but when he saw 50 like pulled him in the room and was like, "Yo, you're hot right now, and anything I say about you is only giving us both more heat." Like, you know. So like, what he does is calculated. So like, fucking King Combs, like, you going off your emotions, recording a diss song against this guy, what real benefit does that give to anybody on your side? It doesn't help your dad at all. It doesn't help you at all. But for 50, this is nothing but a win. It's nothing but a win. Right. Make more diss songs about
think
me.
Some people still get caught up in the whole any attention is good attention.
Yeah.
No, not this. Not this.
Not unless you can make it that way. Like, what's your plan B? You diss 50 and then what? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because like, you don't have a rap career.
Yeah, like,
if you don't have a rap career being the son of Puff Daddy, you don't have a rap career.
So it's also,
yo, you know what's crazy when we started talking about this? Hold on. Check this out. I thought about this. Will Smith's son did a better job of being a fucking rapper under his dad.
Oh, easily.
And Willow,
like Jaden actually,
he got a hit.
Actually, kind of dope. I mean, yeah, Mickey Fax writing a bunch of his early shit, right? Before so did Childish and a bunch of people. But again, it's kind of like Diddy, where it's like, if you really that good, it won't matter, bro. Nobody don't really care much as long as the song sounds good. You know, you'll get disqualified from certain discussions, right? But
from the lyricist discussion, the quote unquote hip hop, but
people are still talking about
Jaden. But Jaden
that
had
Icon
like
song
a
was
brand.
That shit is
like
fire.
The whole project was like he created an entire character. The way he was memeing on the internet, like every part of what he was doing at the time was brilliantly executed, like a rich boy artist is supposed to do. Cause like
Nepo baby, that's
like,
a
honestly,
Nepo
man,
baby.
I gotta give like hella credit to both him and Willow, cause they're like we're rich and we know it. Like they're not trying to hide it. But they're not weird about it either. They just like fucking own their shit, and they like they're some of the best celebrity children in music out there. Is what I'm trying to give credit to them. Cause
definitely,
Willow's crushing it.
Oh, then that's a good point. So look,
I'm just saying, Puff's kids are not fucking doing it the way some of these other kids are doing it. You know what I mean?
Why didn't King Coombs hire somebody to sit in the room with him?
Probably should have.
Because it's ego.
Let me put y'all on the spot real quick, right?
Mm-hmm.
The top 5 rapping kids of rappers. Who would they be?
You mean actual rapping?
What,
I definitely would want to put Chris Rivers in there.
But what do you mean most successful?
Most successful. Most successful.
Oh, most successful.
Ice Spice.
Who kid is she? She's not a kid.
She is
an industry person. She's an industry person.
Her dad is an underground rapper. I don't know who he is. But if you go to her Wikipedia, if you go to her Wikipedia, they're like Ice Spice is the child of some New York City underground rapper.
Hold on, I'm about to look this.
Nah, I definitely.
But they don't say who he is.
Her dad is industry. The part of her getting on was definitely like her dad having wild connects at New York City Radio.
Her dad's a rapper.
97.
Yeah, he's. I don't know what the fuck.
Wait, they gave his name?
Gatson is African American and once was an underground rapper. Yeah, or Joseph Gatson.
What was his rap name?
I'm looking into it.
Lord Tariq?
It takes more clicks.
Nah, come on.
Gatson,
why you doing my man Lord Tariq like that? Yo,
I'm saying, Corey Guns.
Yo, have some respect for the Bronx when you hear Baxter. Okay?
Corey Guns. How high is Corey Guns on the list?
Oh, Corey Guns is no, he's not very successful.
He was.
I mean, and that's the homie. I love him. That like I would, you know what I mean? But the truth is that he didn't get to have full like success like that. You know what I mean? Like he never got to release it. It almost feels like his career
he didn't get mainstream
the same pattern as Saigon and Papoose, where like by the time the album came out, it was too little, too late. You know what I mean? Like people were anticipating that album for so long that it just became, oh well, we're not paying attention no more. And by the time when the album does drop, it's like, well, no, you know, if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? Type shit.
Well, let's say the kids of rappers that were actually prominent.
All right, so we got the whole second generation Wu, right? Like,
man, why you disrespect Peter Guns like that?
No, Peter Guns is valid to me.
No, he was referencing the Ice
Spice
thing. Yeah.
Word.
Peter Guns is super valid. So Corey Guns, you go.
He got a hit forever hip hop hit record. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like
I think some one hit wonders definitely deserve their respect.
I put Chris Rivers in there. I fuck with Chris Rivers because he does not try to like live in the shadow of his dad. Like he don't really rap about his dad in a derogatory way or mention him in every track.
You have to also know it too, because his name is so distinct that like you have to Google it and figure it out.
But it's an ill flip. But it's an ill flip because I mean Spanish speakers.
Rios is Rios.
Chris Rivers, Chris Rios. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I fucking respect that. Who else got kids that rap?
But he unfortunately hasn't been very successful. Is the most unfortunate thing.
I mean, we just talked about Jaden. I think Jaden will probably be number
Jaden was dope, bro. I really fuck with Jaden heavy. I got all his projects on my fucking iTunes. You know what I mean? Still, like he had bangers on both those projects. You know what I mean?
That Icon song is. I listen to that shit all the time.
That Icon song definitely hit.
What about
let's see
Romeo?
which rapper's child is the best?
Absolutely not.
Romeo?
No,
absolutely not.
I don't know.
Name one Romeo song that you would bump today.
Yeah, somebody mentioned King Combs. Robbie Banks is Shaggy's son. I forgot about that.
I didn't know that.
Banks from Florida that was beefing with Extentacion and shit like that.
Shaggy's not a rapper.
True. Shaggy's not a rapper. Young Dirty Bastard. That was the other ones that I forgot to mention was all the Wu-Tang.
I said second generation Wu.
Second generation Wu.
All of them niggas. Yo, shout out to Intel.
I saw Young Dirty Bastard in Montreal hit the stage because like he's on tour with the Wu-Tang and shit, like performing all over. So like high key, we're talking like success. If you're performing
with Wu-Tang, replacing replacing his father's or doing his father's lyrics.
And people really like it. It isn't like
that makes him the most successful out of all the sons, I think, of Wu-Tang, technically speaking.
Well, Ghostface's son and Method Man's son, I think, have an album together, and Method Man's daughter just started rapping.
Oh shit! Okay.
Yeah, that shit went really well. I saw her thing.
They definitely.
But the Wu-Tang have a different fan base. Like it's not. Just Americanized, like no, they have a really loyal core following.
and you can't say that they're like, though they have a strong white fan base, like all big, huge rap acts that blow up, right? Like you end up with this like big white fan base. It's not just a white fan base. Like they got a huge Asian fan base, like, and not just China. It's Japan. It's China.
Do you think it's
all
only
over
America that does this whole relevancy thing? Like it seems like other countries don't fall under that. Like, yo, you hot today, but going tomorrow type mentality.
I mean, here's the thing. Like in like certain youth genres, yeah, but where it changes, I think, is with like the old people, where they like celebrate good music a lot more. Like the number one feedback I get from Europeans, or that I've dealt with Europeans online, is like, they like appreciate that guys like Chuck D drop new albums, and they'll like check for them. And like when you do like the album reviews for those dudes, it's always Europeans that come check for it and comment, whereas Americans don't really care as much about like the vintage, because we're all into the fresh and now. But like when you look at the festivals in Europe, it's all legacy acts.
They live in the 90s in Europe.
Right.
And it's like,
I mean, you know, some to say to that though is like, I think it might just be that like error thing that happened.
It's
you know
the
what
pipeline.
I mean?
It starts here.
Like things changed since then, since it used to be like that. You know what I mean? Like it did used to be like that. But I don't know if like that applies anymore. Kind of like the way that like rappers used to sound like their region, but now they don't. You know what I mean? Like
also
the internet changed the rules on certain things.
The internet also allows other things to like be the forefront of stuff, because like K-pop would not be blowing up over here if motherfuckers didn't have access to all of
that definitely blew up because of the internet.
Right.
We'd have never heard that shit.
Right.
We've never heard that shit. But you know, but then there's also like a lot of fetishizing in America of Asian culture, in particular anime, and then K-pop has this kind of like live action anime feel to it. You know what I mean? Like, and all this type of like energy and vibe. You know what I mean? Like, yo, are you an anime come to life?
There's like hella immigration that's happened over the last 20, 30 years, and we can't like deny the impact that has on us being exposed to stuff beyond the internet. Like, it's not just the internet, it's the internet plus people in your office place / school / workplace that just fuck with the shit because it's their culture and they like it and they introduce it. Like I got introduced to wild things, and then the internet allowed that to like take over because it was the fresh and the new. But
the difference is like it would usually integrate into where you were at. You know what I'm saying? So like hip hop started in New York. I mean, you can argue that, blah 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 blah. But then like,
no, we can't argue that. We're not doing.
I mean,
let's move on.
Let's not open this door up
from that.
But
we'll be on here another 3 hours.
But when it goes to other places, it becomes of that place, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like right. So the hip hop that like happens in the West Coast.
About hip hop, and they're talking about, oh, you're not real hip hop. I'm like, the real hip hop that you're talking about only exists in New York City. Every other city in America has their own version of hip hop.
It's like Chinese.
New Orleans having their bounce, to LA having their.
I don't want to lose the plot.
Miami.
I don't want to lose the plot of what I'm saying.
Et cetera, et cetera.
I don't want to lose the plot of what I'm saying.
Flacco, let him cook.
So, so like it's like Chinese food, right? Every place has Chinese food, but every place you go, it's like a different version of Chinese food. So it's like, so like you're right, Holden. Like people come and they would introduce you to shit, and you'd be like, oh, that's dope. But then it would have melted into like the region that it gets introduced into. The internet allows you to like peep the source, and like peeping the source kind of like claims the ownership of a thing. You know what I'm saying? If the internet was around when hip hop was created, everyone would know that we're getting it from the source, right? But because it's not, when hip hop goes to Atlanta, or when hip hop goes to fucking New Orleans, they're not so aware of what's happening in New York. Everyone there isn't like, oh, in New York they're doing this, and in New York they're doing that. So they're like, all right, we're gonna just do it how we fucking do it, because like that's all we know. You know what I'm saying? So like, but the
internet kind of lifted the gate, so to speak, in terms of what we're exposed to. So like for me, right, I used to be gung ho. All I listened to was rap. That was the only thing I listened to, right? Then I started doing security work. I'm bouncing at like clubs in like Soho in downtown Manhattan. That's what put me on to pop music.
You
That's when
heard
I
you heard
start.
you were working the club and you heard some shit that you were like, what the fuck is this fire?
Right. I start listening. I start hearing Lady Gaga and David Guetta and Taylor Swift and all this other shit. I'm like, whoa. This shit sounded a little bit fire. Like, I need to. But then once the internet come around, now I'm liking songs like Gangnam Style and shit like that. And I'm like, that's what
songs
the
that you
internet
wouldn't have
does.
came across if it wasn't for the internet.
Nah,
and it's like Wikipedia gives you the. It's like, but you could always trace it back to the source. So if you hear a K-pop song, you're like, oh, what's K-pop? And then eventually it takes you back to Korea. Like, you know,
I think just to add to the internet, it's like, but at the same time, now you can also go to the South Korean fucking club in your, at least in a bigger city, that has like all these people that like are actually able to validate what the real culture is from the fake culture, and that's a huge part of the immigration process that's impacted. So it's like this combination of the internet mixed with local validation, where like, yo, I don't know, like Montreal's pretty cosmopolitan. I get it's not New York, but like it's pretty fucking close as far as the example I'm going.
Definitely one
so
of
like
kind of
pick
the
your
major
like culture.
cities.
There's
Toronto,
groups for
Montreal,
it. There's
Vancouver.
clubs for it. There's probably entire like South Korean ecosystems that exist that are like helping integrate immigrants into it all. But that helps that bleed into like it helps the education of the local culture happen, because we'll end up having more K-pop festivals now, because there's just enough people to be a demo point to cater to, and like things like that. And so like it helps validate it in a much bigger way. And I just don't want to discount the impact of immigration on this, as much as I do believe the internet is a huge proponent.
No,
of
but
it.
I'm not discounting the impact of the immigration. It's like you know how Chinese food is different everywhere it goes, right? So it's like that's because it gets there and then it's morphed. As much as it
into the local shit.
As much as it affects the culture of where it's at, the culture of where it's at affects it. You know what I'm saying? So if like let's say there's a K-pop club in Montreal, but there's no internet, it's like it's going to become a mix of this fashion of Montreal and that place. Right. So what happens is what the internet does though, now people can go on the internet and says, how are they dressing in Korea? So it keeps it more linked to the source. Now it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like the internet.
So I say like, cause like in the food industry, like it's actually like not the internet that creates that like authenticness. It's more like the access to people from other cultures that makes it happen. Like Flacco's always talking about how he wants an immigrant making his this or that in whatever culture it is, so that it's authentic. And so like I think it's the same kind of shit with art.
You have to actually go outside and experience food. You can't taste
and
food.
So like, because I talk to a lot of restaurant owners, and a lot of them will go to, so like all the pizza dudes in Montreal that want to flex on their pizza shit talk about mentoring with pizza guys in New York City. Like it's almost like a rite of passage. And then they'll go to Italy if they're taking the other route of pizza, and then they'll fucking import ovens and all this other shit. And so yeah, the internet helps get the information, but I still think it's access to the people that live the culture that was streamlined through immigration mixed with the internet at the same time, because both these things happen at the same time. So for me, it's hard to separate one's impact from the other. But like, you're right, back in the day the shit would have been siloed, but actually I think what would have happened is it would have been so siloed that, like, let's be real, white people never would have found the South Korean club. They would have ignored it before the internet.
Let me tell you something. You blew us up, Mercy, with one fucking question, and it was born from fucking talking about how big Wu-Tang is in Asia. Young Dirty Bastard. I'm gonna bring us back. Here's a couple more names you guys have not thought of. BG's son, Ty, Droopy, which is E40's son, and he's been making music for a long time. Somebody said,
I didn't know that was E40's son.
Yeah.
I've heard the name like for years.
Yeah, he's been around so long. It's not like he's not like some young rapper. Right? Like we think of sons and we're all thinking like, oh, some teenager. And it's like, nah, this nigga grown ass man, because E40 had him when he was like fucking probably 18, 16 or some shit.
But he also another one that I feel is not trying to live off his father's shadow. Like,
does not live off his father's shadow. But I mean, his father built the company so that nobody got to live off of anybody's shadow. They could all be independent. Busy Bone has a son, but he can't be that big. You got son into. Oh, somebody mentioned
Shout out to
Diggy.
Intel.
Diggy Simmons.
What's the other guy's name? The other son.
JoJo?
Because
JoJo.
Diggy's Run's son. And then also now, then that makes me think of, because I think of Run, and then I think T.I. is the Southern Run. Because they both had the same reality show, like the family reality show. With the rappers, with the rapping sons.
One of T.I.'s sons is official. Not that one. The other one. Yeah, there's another T.I. son. Sounded
yes, that's
J. Cole-ish.
DeMonte.
He can rap.
Mm-hmm.
He can rap for real.
He can rap for real, and he true to this. Also, one last comment here on this Reddit thread about fucking sons of famous rappers. Somebody said Scoop DeVille, Bobby Codone 303. Shouts to Bobby Codone. Let me give credit to people with their shit. Says Scoop DeVille, who produced a lot of hits for Kendrick Lamar, Busta Rhymes, etc., is the son of Kid Frost. I did not know that Scoop DeVille was Kid Frost's son. Like, why?
I didn't know that at all.
And I know who Scoop DeVille is. So it's just like, what?
I know who Scoop
That's another
DeVille
person that made it on his own merit, right? Because it's like he wasn't out here riding like dad's coattails. To which, really, how much coattails is there to ride? You know what
making it on your own merit it's a balance, right? Because it's like Ice Cube's son, right? Like, can the brother act? Yeah. Yes. Is he making it on his own merit? To a very large degree. But there's no making it on your own merit when you Ice Cube's son. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Like when your big role is to play Ice Cube in an NWA movie, so the whole world's gonna go watch that shit.
But I'll give him this. Hold on. I'll give him this. He had to audition and he got the part. Young Dirty Bastard auditioned to play Old Dirty Bastard, did not get the part.
Did not get the part. But also it's because Old Dirty Bastard isn't in his life mentoring him and setting let's be fair too. Be fair too.
He didn't watch him his entire life.
His dad is still around and believe that. Yeah, I do believe that there is some nepotism involved, and like he would have gotten the role of Ice Cube in the movie regardless. But I also know that Ice Cube is not going to rest on his laurels, and he definitely was coaching him, probably sending him to acting classes and all that shit leading up to this shit just out of his own dime, so that his son. What ended up being the big thing is that in that same movie, Eazy-E's son did it, and again, same example. Yo, daddy not in your life no more. So you don't even know what to do. You don't even know who to go to, where to go. You don't even got the connects out here. Even though you out here popping, shouts to Eazy-E Jr. because Eazy-E Jr. been out here popping and making his own music and doing his own moves and waves. But he didn't have his dad's old school connections in an industry that he never got to reach that level to. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you don't. Oh, meanwhile, Ice Cube's son got his dad there right now, probably in his ear, like, making appointments for him with the best fucking acting coaches. You know what I mean? Fuck around, and this little motherfucker probably went and hung out with Steve Buscemi for a week or some shit. Callback to Steve Buscemi though. The callback to Steve Buscemi.
And then you gotta remember, Ice Cube was in some big movies himself. So
he's
imagine the resources he got.
He's legit in Hollywood. He's a Hollywood producer. He's not just an actor. He's a producer in Hollywood. Yeah. And been in it like that. So they don't look at him the way that they look at him the same way that they looked at Keenan and what's his name?
Robert Townsend.
Robert Townsend. You know what I mean? Like, yo, or even like Mario Van Peebles' dad.
Melvin,
you know what I mean? Like Melvin Van Peebles was like off. Hollywood had to give him respect, whether they considered it as good as what they were doing or not. They had to give him at least the respect of but you at least know what it is to put the whole production together, get the whole thing done A to Z, motherfucker. You did this whole shit from A to Z. Like you're that level, and Ice Cube is that level in Hollywood. So like his son is coming in with an unfair advantage on top of an unfair advantage. You know what I mean?
Like, but I'm not
also
saying
the
that
right
Ice Cube's son
advantage.
didn't like deserve it. I'm just saying that that's how he was introduced
Nah,
to the
he
world.
did. Especially when I look at him in that Den of Thieves with 50 Cent. I'm like, yo, he's a great actor, bro. Like I could see, like he wasn't set to play tough guy in that one. He wasn't set to play star of the movie. He was just set to play fucking one of the leads, and like kind of like a little bit of a bitch ass motherfucker. Pissed his pants in the bed when the cops beat his ass, et cetera, et cetera. But like did a great job in that role. We should go back to the cinematic perspective.
I was like, bro, it's we're gonna watch the
Yo,
next two
we're
trailers.
gonna go on forever. Mercy came in here.
Like I was just saying, like Mercy just changed the show. Cinematic perspectives got derailed. It's now 9:49. I'm like,
let's watch at least the last two trailers and finish cinematic perspectives.
My bad, y'all.
Nah, you're good to go. Cece's gonna have to do some clipping later on.
Yeah, no, creating the cinematic perspective, bro. I don't even know.
The story I'm about to tell you is how I, Huey P. Newton, the Black Panther Party founder, was set free into a prison. I envision a world beyond conflict and violence. I want to transform society. This is just the beginning.
Talk about a star. That guy's a star.
Bird Dig, Richard Pryor as Huey P. Newton in the Huey Newton story. Well, don't we look alike?
Not really.
The FBI has been pursuing Huey Newton for years. They saw the programs worked and change was happening.
We are trying to stop an enemy of the state.
A massive nationwide manhunt is now underway.
Where am I supposed to go?
You should check out Bird. He's willing to do whatever it takes.
They're expecting you at every crossing.
Hey, that's why I'm leaving the country.
You're gonna need disguises, transportation.
You're the hotshot producer, man. Produce this.
This is a dangerous idea.
I didn't know I was having company.
All right, listen up. We're gonna get Huey to Cuba in the next 48 hours.
What we do is we make it look like it's one of your movies.
It's a location shoot as far as the feds are concerned. We got hair, makeup, wardrobe.
What movie are we talking about?
The Big Cigar.
I mean, I love The Big Cigar, man.
We need to secure a boat.
The Big Cigar is lit.
I am willing to fight with you because I believe in you.
We got company.
They must have followed somebody unless somebody told them where to go.
The FBI is gonna rain fire.
This is our lives, Bert. Huey's fight is worth risking everything to do.
We're gonna beat the Beverly Hills 7, man.
They call you that after you're arrested.
Yo, Mercy, you're
looking fire.
You're a guest this week. Please be the first one to go. Tell us what you think.
I'm not gonna lie, that movie looked fire. Like, so this is the thing, right? I love plot points that have like a big situation. Like when they talking about the movie set and how they're gonna use that to be the cover for him getting to Cuba. I want to see how that unfolds because for one, even though I know of Huey Newton, I'm not super familiar with the story. So this gives me a chance to get like really familiar and actually see it play out, on some, in the movie. But
it's gonna be a series. It's gonna be it's a 6-episode series. So
it's a series.
Even better than a movie. Sometimes I feel like a series can sometimes be, especially something like this.
Right.
It could either drag on too long, or it could be like, oh, that's exactly what I needed. We needed more than 2 hours or 3 hours that a movie would give us to tell this whole story. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like it's a 6-episode series. That's what
6-episode series. Got you. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be in tune with that. I don't have Apple, especially me being a Galaxy user, but I'm gonna get my hands on that series somehow.
Yeah, you'll be able to find. There's wild bootleg shit.
I'm gonna find that easily. But I want to watch that, for real.
I'll tell you, like I tell everybody, bro. I highly recommend at least 20 series on Apple. Like Apple got like wildfire. I got Baxter to fuck with. What was it, Bax, that you fucked with that you was like, that was
I saw
actually
the
good?
Tetris movie was dope.
Tetris movie was fire, son.
There was
That
something
shit,
else.
when you hit me with that one, I was like, you know what? I didn't even mention that one
A
to him.
Tetris
That's what he
movie?
watched.
Yo, there's a movie on Apple
wildfire.
about how the game Tetris sort of came to be. How
Right.
it came to be the first game on the Game Boy. It's fire.
Okay, I'm gonna watch that.
That does sound pretty good.
Amazing.
And it's espionage. There's so much that goes on in that movie. But
I got, matter of fact, I got Frostwire on my phone.
Yeah, you'll probably be able to find all that shit on there. Go ahead, Bax. Tell us what you thought about the Big Cigar.
I'm interested in the sort of this because I'm up on Huey Newton. I didn't know about none of this, so this is like an interesting thing. However,
I just
though,
pulled up his wiki page and all that shit's right there. Like he fucking fled to Cuba and everything. I'm like, that's wild.
But
Wait,
also
Huey?
there's a part of this. There's a part
okay,
of this.
yeah, no, I was wondering what you were Googling that you get. Yeah, Huey's fucking story is amazing. Go ahead, Bax.
There's a part of this that seems like off. You know, I don't know if it's the actors that they chose. I don't know if it's the clips that they chose to show. There's something about this that makes me think I'm not gonna like it, and I can't quite put my finger on it. But I'll give it a spin.
Yeah, nah,
maybe it's the theme of the trailer, like that whole
that Hollywood.
Yeah,
but
whole
I mean,
vibe.
I think that's part of what they're selling, right? Like they're selling
Yeah.
to you that this is like in what I'm gathering is that it's less of a Huey P. Newton story and more of like the Hollywood story of Huey P. Newton and all this.
And
all
I
this
guess what I'm
shit.
saying is like, depending on how it's handled, I could hate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I want to
watch it.
Holden.
You won't know till you watch
I
it.
think it looks good. I think it's interesting, and I think that the way they approach it that might rub Baxter the wrong way is what's going to make white people all over the world be fucking flocking
Love
to
it.
this shit and giving
Right.
it Oscars and all kinds of shit. Because that's really what it is. It's like this, like, I don't know how to put it into words, but like I want to watch it real bad on some like, this feels like it was made to make me appreciate it in some way or another. And like I
Right,
feel
can't see it
that
in
coming
camera.
off of it. I cannot.
But I
see
found a
it on
Tetris
camera.
movie.
You might be
There
right,
you go.
Holden.
Download it.
Because
You might be right, Holden.
Worth it.
Because usually when I get real excited like that, you're like, I'm gonna fucking hate this movie. It's blah blah blah. blah. And I'm like, alright. No.
You watched the
but
Pop
like-
Tart movie?
Not yet. I mean, you made some valid
Nah,
points.
I'm not gonna lie.
I did eat the Pop Tart though, and holy shit,
I-
did I sleep good.
I didn't even think that the Pop Tart movie was gonna be great, but then after you demolished it, I was like, you know what though, he's right. I hate Amy Schumer. Like I despise Amy Schumer, bro, and I'm not really a fan of Melissa McCartney.
And
So it's
they're
like-
both
and then-
Amy.
and then-
They're
and then
Amy
Jerry
Schumering and
Seinfeld-
Melissa
and then-
McCarthying all over this movie.
all
Oh
over.
my
And then Jerry Seinfeld was never like my favorite guy. Like, yeah, I watched some Seinfeld more than I ever watched Friends. You know what I mean? But
Right.
like, I also like Seinfeld isn't like he wasn't the star of that show to me. Like to me, I look at
I
Curb
do
Your
think
Enthusiasm
Larry
and I'm like,
David was the
clearly
genius. Let's be
Larry
clear.
David was the genius of this show.
It's
You know what I
Curb Your
mean?
Enthusiasm.
Like that's why
Right,
he was
real.
able to create that same recipe again and even better without Seinfeld. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Seinfeld hasn't ever seen that same success that he saw from his
Seinfeld
show
was a
without
B.
Larry David, right? So I'm like, so I look at Frosted and I'm like, you know what? Baxter might be right, bro. It's probably gonna be trash. There's gonna be a lot of white.
But I need y'all to watch it.
comedy.
I need y'all to watch
You
it
know
to
what I mean?
confirm my.
Nah, I'm gonna watch
I don't know,
it to
man.
confirm.
Here's the thing: you made it really like, and then you came on and were like, "That shit was trash," and I'm like, "Look,
I mean,
don't got a lot of
somebody in the
TV
comments
time.
on Twitch is telling you.
Yo, Chris Chrome.
So, like, why am I gonna-
CC said unfrosted
You know
is
what?
boring.
I'll make
I
y'all
went
a deal out
halfway.
there in the world.
It's trash.
If y'all sign up on the
Trash
Patreon
set one on
and
fire.
you guys
It
come
was
to
horrible.
movie
It
night,
was garbage.
if you guys come on the Patreon and you pay us money to go watch the movie, I'm in. I'm happy to watch
Yo,
the movie
I'll
if
watch
you pay us
whatever.
money now.
Yeah,
But-
definitely.
Also,
then we could
can
pay for a guy to come in and do clips for us. And
can I make commentary while we watch the movie?
I would love that. You
Oh,
can.
we gotta do it like that. We gotta do it like
Yeah.
that. You know how long I've been wanting to do a masterpiece? Because I have videos I put on Facebook of like me watching Batman vs Superman and like making fun of
PRSPCTVS.
the movie as it was going and the plot line, like when they did the whole Martha thing, like Martha, I started like making fun of it. Like,
yeah, that shit was the stupidest
like
shit
Mystery Science Theater
in
Mystery Science
the
Theater.
world.
Mystery Science Theater. We need to do
Flacco,
it like that.
Discord was built for that shit. That's what Discord's for.
Absolutely.
Yo,
absolutely.
you know this is an aside. You know what's
Hold
ill?
on, before we segue, let me give my Big Cigar take.
Oh yeah.
Yo, listen. I'm an avid Apple watcher. I've been doing nothing but hyping
Apple
up
watcher
for a while long. You know what I mean? Like I've been telling people that they got some of the best TV out here. Like they're the new HBO now that HBO fell off. You know what I mean? And their consistency level is through the roof. That being said, to me, they seem to have a problem with like just black content. And then like when they do black content, I'm left with something about this that I just don't know why.
That's how I feel about it.
Like, you know, I don't know if it's Andre
Is it BET Plus-ish?
I don't. But there's the thing is that it's Apple. They're not BET Pluses. I'm telling you, the rest of their content is like, they get their Rotten Tomato scores on a lot of their TV shows are like high. Like the fans are like talk about how fire they are. And then they'll come with like their one black show or movie or topic for their 100 white. And that one black thing just feels to me like a little bit of like a lackluster effort. That I'm like, y'all got about 2 more times doing this shit to me before I get frustrated.
You think they do that just to fill they?
I think they do
their quote unquote diversity quota.
Yes and no.
No, I think it's
because diverse. Hold on, Holden, because he asked me. Hold on, Holden. All right, listen. Let me tell you something. Right, check it out. I think that what it really breaks down to is the fact that they see the profit in diversity. There's not a problem with it. It's just they don't see. If they don't see value in a black content creator enough to go and pay them the way that they're clearly paying these white directors that are up and coming in Hollywood to do these series and these writers. And like, if you're not respecting black people all around, which is something that Ava DuVernay exposed about Matt Damon and his with that show on HBO where like they were doing the behind the scenes of a movie, Greenlight, that they were putting together that was a Matt Damon movie. And like you see her fighting for like, nah, we need it don't need to be just me behind like the name title director. Where's my black key grip? Where's my black PA? Where's my black fucking guy that fucking yells action and hits the fucking clipboard thing? You know what I mean? Like, give me my black everything of everything. Give me equity. I don't want equality. You know what I mean? I don't want the fake shit. And so I think that that's what the problem is, which is to say it's kind of like DC's problem when it comes to creating content, where they never got their Kevin Feige to help steer the ship. And if you don't got one like person, you know what I mean? Like if you don't got one person with skin in the game that's invested, then that you'll listen to in the meetings when you're talking about all the programming content that you're planning for the years, then you're gonna end up with like duds here and there, even though you're shooting fucking high, like they shoot at high level proficiency with all these white shows, but then this. Like, I got a funny feeling that this will go under the radar. Like, we watched this trailer, we talked about it, we will follow up, but I doubt that it'll set the internet ablaze and people on Twitter. I doubt that even Black Twitter will know about the shit type of shit. You know what I mean?
You kind of go on, Holden.
I was gonna say I think a lot of this shit does come from data analysis. Because like a lot of these movie executives now are algorithmically driven. They have a lot of access to search information. and I think they look for holes. Like they look for like keyword density, and they came across Huey Newton as a keyword density thing or whatever, and they just decided to run in a direction with it. I don't know if it's necessarily about a racial quota, but I think it's about finding holes in the market and appearing progressive and tapping into proven success.
Yeah, appearing progressive is huge.
Because like, I don't think. Yeah, sorry, go on, Baxter.
It's all so I've been doing my Googles. It's based on a book by a journalist by the name of Joshua Bierman that he released in 2013 or 2015 about the same thing, about them smuggling Huey Newton to Cuba. And I guess what Holden pointed out, the thing that kind of like gets me about it is like, it's whenever there's these movies that happen in a time period, and it's always like how they had to put the scene with Richard Pryor in there. You know what I'm saying? To let us know that like, oh, like Richard Pryor is going to be in this, and who knows what other celebrities you might see, but it doesn't have. There was once an interview with Denzel Washington where they were like, they were asking him, do you think a black director was needed for the movie that he was in? I think it might have been Fences or whatever. And he was like, it's not a matter of necessity, it's a matter of culture. He was like, Steven Spielberg did Schindler's List, and Homeboy did did The Godfather. What's his name? Fucking
Marlon Brando.
Right. He's like, Steven Spielberg could have done The Godfather. Marlon Brando could have, not Marlon Brando. Who directed it?
Oh, Scorsese.
Scorsese could have done Schindler's List,
yeah.
right? But he's like, but there's certain things that Spielberg knows about the Jewish experience, and certain things that Scorsese knows about the Italian experience that add to the culture that is being depicted in the movie. You know what I'm saying?
And it doesn't matter if in real life Steven Spielberg is more into Italian culture than Scorsese, and Scorsese is more into Jewish culture,
right? Because it's not about how much you're,
because it's not about the
how much. It's not about how much you're into.
It's about how the peripherals look to everybody else.
Well, not I'm not. No.
To me.
Not even how it looks to everybody else. Because it's not about how much you're into a thing. It's about how much you've experienced a thing. Like if somebody's doing a movie about growing up in the Bronx, they can learn about it. They can be into it out of their so much. But like how much perspective do you have of it by just doing it, just being
offended. I'll be offended regardless of who makes it. It'll be another Bronx person. I'll be like, why didn't they come talk to me though?
But what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is like somebody who has the lived experience has a perspective, whether they wanted it or not, whether they're into it or not, that just can't be taught or learned. And there's something about this movie that just doesn't seem black at all. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, yeah. Something about this series that just doesn't seem black. It's dealing with some
things cannot be black and still win over the black audience. But I don't know if this will be it.
No, this movie is for white people to teach us about Huey Newton.
Or maybe just the marketing is for mainstream culture, but the movie will be black centered. Like
I don't think
that as well.
I don't think,
you know what? As we keep on coming up with wars, now I'm like, or
Baxter is like the third time the look on his face.
Okay, I just want to put a pin in what I was saying. The pin in what I'm saying is Huey Newton. Huey Newton is a prevalent character in black culture. He means something to the African American culture. He's not just a guy who lived once. You know what I'm saying?
No.
And anybody who grew up black, who like kind of looked into like what it means to grow up black, Huey Newton is like part of that, right? So now in this, he looks like he's just a character in a movie, and his importance to black culture doesn't seem to be like hold weight in the trailer of this series, and that's kind of what I'm kind of like about. But it's just a trailer. Who knows what'll happen in the actual series?
We can be wrong. We've been wrong before. We've been right before.
I love the conversation. Yo, No Mercy. I certainly hope you're going to be coming back in the future.
No, let's go to the last trailer. There's one more trailer. Don't do this, fam. There's one more trailer, and you know what?
There was
it's
one more trailer. I was
deliciously bad. I purposely put this one. Because I want people to see
this. What I think
it's called Back to Black, and it's the movie based on Amy Winehouse's life.
just forget their troubles for 5 minutes. Do you know what girl power means to me? Sarah Vaughan, Lauryn Hill. You need to know this. I ain't no Spice Girl.
From primary school to sell-out concerts. It's going to happen one of these days. Voice like yours, got to.
Well, it's one of the best I've ever heard.
That's my daughter. That's my Amy.
I met someone tonight.
Stay lucky, Amy.
Got an eye for the bad boys. The album's #1 around the world. The highest charting album.
I'm
from a
offended.
British female artist in the US. Ever.
I don't think I was put on this earth just to sing. I want to be a wife. I want to be a mum.
Probably run off with someone famous anyway.
You're my heartbeat. You're my soul. I love you. And my tears dry. I don't bang out 10 hits by lunch. I need to live my songs. So that's what I'm going to go and do.
Ready?
I don't write songs to be famous. I write songs because I've got to make something good out of something bad.
Very few things I hate as much as I hate that movie.
Oops.
I don't need to see it at all.
Yo, this is definitely a case of too soon, fam. Like, I don't know if it's too soon or y'all just trashed it up so much.
No,
the actress is so vanilla. You know what I mean? Like, it's like
maybe
if,
the
it's like
state needs money.
it's like if they put either Key or Peele to play Old Dirty Bastard. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We're like, yo, you are not the guy to play this role.
It's worse.
I need somebody that I need Lakeith Stanfield to come out the back with his weird ass. This is the role that he's.
Let me tell you
play
what.
Old Dirty Bastard. This is what you. You know.
Let me tell you why it's worse. Because Old Dirty Bastard died. When did he die? You know. But like the generation that exists today, that is like the movie going generation, might not know old Dirty Bastard.
Right.
They might not know what his face is if you showed them a picture of him and said, "Who's this person?" Right. We are still very familiar with Amy Winehouse. Her music still gets played on a daily basis. Like people who work at my shop, 20-year-olds bump Amy Winehouse. They know what she looks like. You know what I'm saying? And they know that this person does not look like her. There's still clips of her all over the internet, and this person doesn't even sound like her when they talk. You can't. Right. Like, you can't tell a story.
She don't got the same British accent. You could tell that she's from some other. She's from like Liverpool, and Amy Winehouse is from fucking. You know what I mean?
Also, it's just a different. It's just a different person.
Crazy that name is.
It's just a different person. Like the person that they're playing in this movie is like this dreamer who like made something beautiful out of like a bad thing or whatever. And like Amy Winehouse was more like of a broken person who wasn't broken to them. You know what I'm saying?
A broken person that made greatness because she was broken. There's something that like people just don't understand about some broken artists that.
But she didn't consider herself broken. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know those people who's like, they own their brokenness. You know what I'm saying? Right. She wasn't dreaming to be anyway, whatever. This just isn't Amy Winehouse. She just whack.
Her anthem was quite literally, "I'm not going back to rehab. Fuck out of here. I'm gonna go live my life."
Right.
Like that's literally.
And if you just watch any of her interviews, man.
No.
Watch any of her interviews. She was so like. Anyway,
she was definitely the fuck out there. You know what I mean? But this is my point. Is like I need that. Like, yo. I recently started watching Killing Eve over the weekend with the wife because my sister recommended it to me, and she gassed it up way too much. Fucking asshole.
Yeah.
She said it's really, really good. You gotta watch it. It's really, really good.
Right.
This fellow sister, we got a special bond. So like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna check it out. You know what I mean? And I got halfway through, and I'm like, you shouldn't have fucking told me it was really, really good. You should have said there's some fucking cute shit in it. It's great background show. It's not really, really good TV. You know what I mean? You say really, really good TV, I'm starting to think about fucking Breaking Bad. I'm starting to think about fucking some of the greatest shit ever. You know what I mean? Like, fam, don't do that. You gotta hype shit appropriately. Anyway, in that show, there's a killer. She's undercover for the fucking MI6, and she goes to a rehab meeting and like tries to fake like she's an addict, a drug addict, but she's really like a fucking serial killer addict, right? And like Shorty comes out and she's like after the meeting, she's like, bro, everybody could tell that you like was lying. You know what I mean? Like we all kind of been through, you know, and it's like for anybody who's ever been either in that life, close to that life, touch drugs heavy like that, you just know, you know what I mean? Like Amy,
what's
like
the name
yo,
of it?
son, I need somebody with edge. What the show that I'm talking about? Killing Eve.
Yeah.
Killing Eve. Again, this is not a really good show. It's like a good background show with some
You
cute
sold
shit
him.
in it.
He's like, I'm gonna watch this mid shit.
Mercy's like, you know what? I need a new background show. I just
because when you mentioned the whole MI6 and that, like that sounds crazy. Like the background
MI6
alone.
You know what? It's kind of like The Following. It's like a FBI analyst that gets way too close to his fucking the serial
movie's
killer.
not
You
that
start
lit
questioning.
when we moved on to the next show because that one was not it.
Right. She needed some more bite. The actress can't be fucking vanilla fucking wafer.
Right.
You need to be somebody that we know is out here and troubled.
And you have to have the personality to match, basically.
Right. You gotta have the personality to match.
Yo,
it's kind of like why the Bob Marley documentary, like it looked good, but then it don't look good. And it's like something's missing here. And it's because it's like
also because we know what Bob Marley looked like. He is one of the most. He is one of the most fucking known faces in the history of humankind. His face has been on more merchandise. It's him and Che Guevara, right? More T-shirts than anybody else. Fucking, we know that this. We know this motherfucker does not look like Bob Marley.
No.
Oh my
you can
god.
ask.
But yeah, this Amy Winehouse joint, me personally, it's obviously predictable because we know what happened to her, right? So the movie has to have something else to draw you in. And for me, it just doesn't have anything. It doesn't have anything that makes me want to know what her life story was. It just doesn't have anything that like grabs you. So it's like, for me, there's really no point in me seeing this movie.
Right.
I don't really have any interest.
It really might be like the Titanic. I just skipped to the end of it. Like,
I'd rather go watch the Huey Newton one. The Huey Newton one had my interest more.
Agreed.
Amazing.
Flacco, wait. You watch Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
I watched the first two episodes.
That was a really good series. I would consider that a really good series.
They are the worst secret agents I've ever fucking seen.
But you know what? That is what I like. That one came off more like this Killing Eve and The Following. To me, it was like, yo, why are the government agents such bumbling idiots? Like, I get it, you know what I mean? But at the same time,
That's
in these shows, they made them bumbling idiots. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they were just the bad apples of the agency. You know what I mean?
I don't know about that.
Just
every decision they make, I'm like, why are they still alive?
But like also that was like, but like Flacco said, they set it up with the opening episode where they had to do that quiz shit, and it's like these guys were not selected because they were the best agents. They were selected
because they were the worst, right?
So like it's kind of like it gets around the premise because of the opening of the show.
Killing Eve is like that. Killing Eve is like that.
Also, there's a huge, what do you call it, continuity error in like one of the first episodes. And I don't know if you guys noticed it, but I noticed it, and it was like there's a scene where they're like sitting in a park and Donald Glover's eating a pretzel, and they're talking about like some lady they got hired to follow, and he's like, He's eating the pretzel. He's like halfway done with the pretzel. It's like gone. And then she says something, and then he responds.
Then he's got a whole new pretzel.
He's got a whole fucking new
I hate when movies do shit like that.
Like, yo, shit like that is hard to cover up.
I
should put
wonder,
that on the
how do you
IMDb.
make those kind of mistakes? Like, that's crazy.
Yo, right?
Splice
Like
2 takes together, and then like you
Right.
literally you miss it in post. That's the honest
like,
answer. Because
they were working with
Starbucks in Game of Thrones, like
we're working with professionals. Somebody should have said, "Hey,
what
Donald
are we
Glover,
doing here?
don't eat the pretzel so much."
I mean, maybe he was hungry in that take. Okay, we can go on, but it's
All
already
right, yeah.
10:20.
Let's
So what are y'all
end
up
it,
to
yo.
this week?
I am working. EO Dub is in Bushwick Sunday. If you're in Bushwick and you like rapping and art, come out to that. I'll also be doing some things with Dama. Dama's releasing a new song this Tuesday called "Sleepless Nights." You should follow. You should follow Dama on all the streaming platforms. DVMA. What else?
Littyyy Bro Dama.
And I will be watching a bunch of movies, I suppose, but not Back to Black.
And Mercy, what are you up to this week?
Shit, chilling. I actually got a 3-day weekend coming up because
Ooh, fire.
Work been
Right.
kind of killing me like a motherfucker. So I'm just taking this weekend to rest and just chill. In terms of projects, I don't really have nothing in the works right now. I've been on family time the past couple of months, really. So that's why you haven't really been seeing me like throw events or really, do anything like crazy. Like even blogging, I kind of fell back from just because like I'm really enjoying like
I noticed
family thing.
I noticed.
So
I'm
I'm
into
still
the channel
posting on
too.
my social media,
Right.
but that's something you could do quick in like 2 seconds.
Also you guys still doing the show.
Every Saturday,
right? Which
10
is
a.m.
the most important thing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
as long as that keeps going, I think that the other extra videos is like, okay, as long as you don't quit that. You know what I mean?
I'll do those when I get time. And even when I do get back to blogging, I do want to start doing more like in-depth and more edited videos, like just stuff that got a little more tailor-made, with more editing, more clips and stuff thrown in. So I want to actually make time to do that. But for right now, I'm just enjoying the family vibe, and probably around this summer, end of the summer, I'll probably throw another trap event, and then I'll get back to doing what I do best.
Dope. You, Flacco?
I'm working wild hours this week. I'm fucking stacking for Puerto Rico for boys trip. So really working. I already arranged like all the studio stuff. So like I don't go to the studio till like the end of the month, around May 26th, Sunday. So like I mean, really, I got to start cooking on some of those beats that, but like, that's like perfect when I work wild hours, because then I got the journey to work and the journey home to like listen to the tracks and start working on shit in my head and directions of songs and shit like that. So like, I have the tools that I need to fuel everything in the coming week with all this work shit that I got to do. But that's about it. And then the wife got wild days off, so probably gonna do some spring cleaning in the time off, you know what I mean, and get the house tidied up before the warm weather gets here. That's about it. What about you, Holden?
So I got a board meeting on Wednesday because I'm part of a not-for-profit, and we got to go get our shit together for fundraising efforts so that we keep our bills paid, and then organize our our super late AGN meeting. Anyway, the money shit where you got to present to the public. So I'm learning all about not-for-profit life, and trying to get some more people from the local hip-hop scene involved on the board so that we can have more representation. And well, honestly, it's just good credentials. If you're trying to like fluff up your CV with some shit, go work for a not-for-profit, go volunteer some time, and you'll just get like actual credentials that can get you better pay down the line if you got that extra time. Then on Fridays, this beat battle thing that I am now hosting / coordinating. So we have a little tournament where people will play.
Is it gonna be online?
No, It's like an in-person, like
In-person
at a
thing?
venue.
You're not
like
going to
at
air it
Belmont.
online at the venue?
I don't know. I didn't
You
get
should
that
think
far.
about that, buddy.
If it's
Think about
possible
that.
and doable, we'll run it.
That's
But
probably like a way for you to get it into getting them to participate better in promoting it.
it's possible. It's not fully my decision, but I will have that conversation and see how it goes. Sometimes you're just more the instrument of other people's visions than you are the one with the vision, such as
Facts.
Baxter was describing right at the beginning, and you get caught up in all of the pieces that come with that. But what will end up happening is on Friday I'll be at La Belmont doing this hosting of this. I've never hosted a beat battle. It will all be new experiences. I can't imagine.
Yo, that was
something
totally
different.
selfish, by the way. Like, I'm only asking for you to get it aired online so that I could hear the beats. So if I like any of the beats, I could like get that shit from my.
So what we could do, what we could maybe do though, is record it in some
God
capacity.
damn.
But like,
Same
we'll
shit.
see. I don't
Holden,
know. But
Holden, while you're hosting, if somebody talks back to you or something, remember to tell them to shut their whole ass up and make some drums.
bro, I'm really bad. Okay, so the problem is I'll be like heckling too. So like, I'll start heckling hecklers, and then it's just like I have to hold off on that shit because I don't want to get jumped after. Is all I'm trying to say. And if I do it to the wrong person, there's like I'm not a New Yorker like that. I'm not trying to throw hands.
Now you just gotta
real.
you just gotta tell them you're kidding
bro.
afterwards.
It's not like that.
It's all love. It's all love.
It's okay. You're in Montreal though. They're not gonna.
If you,
I got my
what are you
luggage stolen in
saying?
Montreal.
I'm sorry, but like, if I were to talk too much shit, I will get checked for the shit talking if person is drunk enough. It's like not as.
I'd be like, you gotta sober up, buddy. Holler back at me when you're sober.
You just got. It's got to be funny. If it's funny,
But I do get away with it because I'm very dry on stage, but like enthusiastically dry, and it just fucking hits the crowd in like a way that they appreciate.
Hey, listen, Holden. He definitely gave you the lob, though, bro. You gotta say that at some point. You gotta find a way to fit it in and tell somebody, shut your whole ass up and make some drums. And everybody in that room gonna be like, ah!
Oh my god!
They're gonna do the internet reaction.
And then
Look
like,
fucking-
then like the next day, I got to do this Porch Fest performance, and I haven't like performed in a while. So while I'm like 85% of the way there, we're still not 100% of the way ready for this hour-long set, which when I agreed to it seemed a lot shorter than it is today. 48 minutes of music with 12 minutes of wiggle room. It's gonna, it's gonna be a vibe.
Nah,
but,
it's
like,
good for you, bro. Good.
I'm excited.
Good.
Like,
That's artistic shit that
like
artists need to get. You know what I mean? I was just talking with Jess about that shit. Like, very few people can do an hour set.
Cause like I mean I have cause like it's gonna be based a bit on time, cause like I got shit from 2012 I'm gonna perform, and then bring it into like shit from today, and then like you get to tell people like stories of your life and like backstories, but also it has to all be edited, so the whole time I can like make fun of when like the beats start skipping because of the clearly edited out fuck in the backtrack of my live instrumental, cause the only version I have has my like fuck in the back of the beat playing or whatever, and like it's gonna be a vibe, and we're gonna rock that shit. I mean, thankfully getting the gears nothing, and like all that shit's easy, but it's like a hour of severe. Like I had to hit my homie and be like, I don't think your music's appropriate for these kids, and he was like, you know what, I agree with you. My stripper theme music is not gonna work for this midday. Like you gotta like picture like the average audience.
You gotta know what
it's like Karens, but Karens with the kids. Now those are great people. They will give you fucking money. You want those people as your fans, but you also need to have a set that you could rock in front of them. So like I'm really happy that I could do like a full hour clean and like have a lot of fun with it. Make sure we get some pickle hate going on.
Look at you go, Holden. Fucking selling pickle merchandise and doing an hour-long set.
I can't really focus on the pickle merch. It's for charity, so we're doing that. And then I don't know, Sunday will be whatever. But this week I kind of like slowing down on the Uber and focusing on everything else to like be ready for all this shit, because all of these things, like if you have an hour-long set, that's easily 20 hours of practice if you're doing it right.
Yeah. More. You fucking up.
Man. That's what it be. Sometimes that's what you got.
All right, man. Press the button. Thank you, everybody, for tuning
right,
in. We appreciate you. Make sure you tune into the Patreon. There's extra content like this shit right here, which was like an extra hour, extra gifted hour. Fucking amazing. You're welcome. We're fucking
like,
happy that
comment,
you were
subscribe.
here. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Yo, y'all the best. We appreciate y'all. See you next week.
And shout out all the moms. Live long and prosper.
Shout out all
everyone.
the moms. Facts.